Hey everyone, if you're enjoying my RM audiobooks, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that hype, and maybe check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel even more. Your support means a lot and helps me keep these coming. Now, sit back and enjoy the story.
In high school DxD as Cadis Etrama Di Raizel. Auxiliary Chapter. High school DxD power levels. I know the DxD power levels don't really make sense, so I'll try to make my own or at least modify the DxD one. PS. Don't take this power leveling scale as canon. Tier 0, trained humans like soldiers, apprentice mages, weak yokais, etc. Tier 1 low-class devils/angels/fallen angels/mages, etc. Tier 2 mid-class devils/angels/fallen angels/mages, etc. Tier 3, high-class devils/angels/fallen angels/mages, etc. Tier 4, ultimate class devils/angels/fallen angels/mages/dragon kings, etc. Tier 5, Satan class devils/seraph/governor general, etc. Tier 6, this is where major gods, Buddhas, and other equally strong beings are in terms of power. Tier 7, can also be called super class or transcended class. The beings in this power scale are the most powerful beings or those that surpassed their species limitations and are above them now. Examples are the heavenly dragons, super devils, strongest gods like Indra or Shiva, some evil dragons like Kuroka. Tier 8, this tier only has 3 beings in it. They are Great Red the true dragon, Apis the dragon god, and Trihexia or 666, the beast of calamity. Tier 9, beings in EXE. Beings in this tier are those that could easily kill Great Red grinning face with smiling eyes. Tier 10. A/N, tiers aren't absolute and it is only there as a rough measurement of power. Specifically, tiers are measurements of the raw power or energy levels a being has. Some factors can offset these tier levels, so don't be surprised when a tier 3 can defeat a tier 4 in battle, 1 vs 1. Some great examples of such factors are battle experience, better energy control, counter abilities, or counter weapons. EX holy items such as holy swords are extremely effective against dark beings like devils, and many more. Of course, when there is a large disparity of tiers between two beings, such factors may not help. Say a tier 1 fights a tier 5, there is no way the former would win, no matter what tricks he had or if he has better battle experience. Though there are exceptions to this rule which will be further explained in future chapters. If I put them here, it will be major spoilers. Aura, explanation. Aura refers to the luminous field of ethereal energy that surrounds sentient beings in Noblesse. This energy permeates their bodies and is constantly radiating outward. This energy can be manipulated in various ways for a myriad of effects. It is the underlying concept behind as well as the foremost of many of the supernatural powers. Nature of aura. Aura is the supernatural phenomenon in which the potent, internal energy that appears comes from the soul and is manifested as a powerful force on the outside of their bodies. Aura manipulation and perception are abilities that can be unlocked through various means, whether strenuous training, technological enhancements, or in the case of some beings, e.g. nobles, naturally. The true nature of aura is the fact that it's fundamentally linked to the soul. Characteristics. Appearance. Auras usually take the appearance of colorful flame-like energy radiating off a person. However, some auras look akin to electricity or even steam. Weak auras are typically invisible, or take on a subtle, pale gray glow. More potent auras cover a wide spectrum of colors, red, blue, purple, green, white, orange, etc. The color of one's aura seems to relate to its intensity. Presence. Because of the aura's nature as the manifestation of one's spiritual force, it has a distinct feeling to it. If one can familiarize themselves with the feel of certain auras, they can detect whenever certain individuals are present. A portion of one's aura is released whenever one uses their powers. Type. It has been explicitly stated that each of the different species has distinct auras, characterized by the average measure of spiritual power those beings have. For example, human auras are generally weak because the vast majority of humans lack the power to release and manipulate their spiritual energy. Races that are generally more aware of supernatural phenomena and have an affinity for manipulating their spiritual energy, e.g. nobles, have stronger auras. Radiation. Aura energy is unconsciously radiated by the majority of beings. However, one can train themselves to consciously radiate more energy for a variety of effects. Also, even though aura naturally radiates off a person, the release of energy can be cut off. Psychological effect. Aura is a unique force because it affects living things not just in a physical way, but also mentally and emotionally. It is a medium through which your thoughts and emotions can be expressed and detected. Auras can express hatred and bloodlust as well as instill fear and awe. These emotions, when detected by the enemy, can overwhelm their mind, sending them into a stunned state for a short amount of time. Aura amplifies emotions to the point where they can cause physical effects such as momentary paralysis, sweating, pain, violent shaking, etc. Because of this, combatants with strong auras can dominate their enemy just by releasing their aura. Usage. Empathy. Aura is often used as a medium through which powerful emotions can be conveyed. Aura, at its core, seems to be a force that is able to create empathy between two or more people. Powerful emotions can have psychosomatic effects on the people sensing them. Auras that exude violent, wrathful, vengeful, or sorrowful emotions are called dark auras. The potency of one's aura is greatly affected by their emotional state and personal psyche. Powerful emotions can enhance the power of an aura, not just in the destructive sense, but in giving it the power to affect people on a subconscious level. Catalyst. Aura can also be used as a catalyst for unlocking or releasing certain things. Due to its nature as a personal power, it is often used as a trigger to reveal messages left for specific people. It can also be used to identify whether or not an individual is able to view or use certain objects, e.g. soul weapons. Physical enhancement. By willing yourself to release larger amounts of aura, and then channeling that energy to a specific body part, one can enhance greatly their physical ability as well as other abilities they might have. However, this burst of power is typically brief and exhausts the user. Also, powerful wielders of aura can cover their entire body with their aura. Users can also create explosions with enough force to wipe out a large portion of, if not the entirety of, a city, depends on the strength of the user. Detection. Similarly, aura is used to detect certain people. As each aura has a distinct feel, it is easy to determine when a certain individual is present at a specific location or using their power. Energy projection. Aura can also be applied in battle. Beings with naturally more powerful auras, e.g. clan leaders, can highly concentrate it and manipulate it within a battle. For example, clan leaders can manifest the symbol of their clan with their soul weapon's aura. This is their most powerful attack as it releases the entirety of their powers in it and travels at a blistering speed to strike their opponent. In addition, because aura can interact with normal matter, its power can be tapped into via highly advanced technology, allowing for a myriad of beings to accomplish this. Aura is used to create extremely durable force fields, explosions, and destructive waves of energy. Most commonly, aura is concentrated and fired from the palm as a powerful energy beam, capable of leveling multiple city blocks. Aura can also be used to overwhelm the enemy's senses, effectively paralyzing them. Aura users with high control can also create solid aura constructs and manipulate them mentally. Things like spikes that can be used to strike an enemy. Crafting. Aura can be manipulated to forge objects with supernatural properties, such as suppressing one's own life force. It seems that the process involves envisioning the object you want to create and then releasing waves of aura energies of varying intensities to form a dense point of focused aura. This singularity then begins to take on the shape and characteristics of the object in mind. The object retains small amounts of the wielder's aura. This process needs a lot of aura, so only those with high amounts of aura can do this. Pseudo-flight, a passive ability used by the majority of characters, particularly nobles. This ability allows them to levitate for extended periods of time and to fly short distances at high speeds. Transmutation. Aura users with high control have the ability to transmute their aura into a natural form of energy, for example electricity. This is an added feature of mine, although it is in canon too, but only Regis has shown it, so I changed it into aura users with high control. Character profile. Name, Cadis Etrama Di Raizel. Age, 10 years old. Race, noble. Powers and abilities. Telekinesis. Costume change. With this ability, he can create clothes out of thin air using his aura. Telepathy. Mind control. Mind reading. With this ability, he can sense and understand the thoughts and emotions of the people in his immediate vicinity. Mind link. He can talk to someone through telepathy, especially if it is a person he has a contract with. Language absorption is an ability to rapidly learn languages. This ability is a result of mind reading and mostly mind linking. Multitude of magic spells. Physical prowess. Raisel possesses extremely high physical capabilities, strength, speed, stamina, endurance, and durability. Aura manipulation. Raisel possesses an immense amount of spiritual energy, aura. With his aura, Raisel can also create an extremely durable force field or barrier made of spiritual energy. His force field has the unique ability of absorbing the energy put into the attacks, even in the form of pure kinetic force. He can easily nullify the flow and effects of the auras of others by releasing small quantities of his own aura. Blood Rain. Simply put, he has authority over blood. He can do anything to the blood of others and himself. Blood affinity. Raisel has a natural and rare affinity to blood. With it comes certain abilities that can only be used by those who govern over blood. The blood he creates and manipulates has certain properties, due to the fact is drawn from his life force and infused with his powerful aura. The blood is quasi-solid and can exert enormous pressure and absorb different types of energy. Awakening. This is one of the unique abilities that only Raisel possesses. However, awakening consumes a considerable amount of Raisel's strength and the chances of success also depend on the potential of the person on whom it is used. He can use this on someone to awaken them from a comatose state or awaken their latent or hidden talent. Power Sealing. He can use this to seal the powers of someone weaker than him. With enough mastery, he can even seal those stronger than him whether temporarily or not based on their strength difference. Blood Field. This power is unique even among the highest-ranking nobles. It is a powerful ability used exclusively by those who govern blood. It creates blood out of thin air and shapes it into a powerful typhoon, or other shapes like a dome of blood, that surrounds his enemies and completely erases all traces of their existence, at a subatomic level or lower. The blood field also shreds apart the surrounding area and everything within at a molecular level. Blood fields are also able to invert or completely disperse electromagnetic fields. Soul Weapon. Soul. As a noble, he possesses a soul weapon, but it is unlike the other nobles. Raisel's soul weapon does not have a materialized form. The combination of noble blood and soul he bears is his soul weapon. Unleashing his soul weapon and full powers increases his powers of Blood Rain. Enhanced Blood Rain abilities after releasing his soul weapon. Blood Field. After he activates his soul weapon, Raisel can use the true form of Blood Field. The true power of a blood field is that within it, the caster has absolute command over all creatures with blood and vastly dwarfs their abilities. There are exceptions, of course. Those that are vastly stronger than him will only be weakened by the blood field's effect. Note, he can also release many blood fields repeatedly or at the same time while using his soul weapon. Blood Demon or Blood Wings. After he activates his soul weapon, Raisel can govern blood and shape it into two vast wings, together as tall as a large building. When this mode is activated, his eyes begin to bleed and glow crimson. His aura's power is magnified in this state. His ascension into this state also causes an earthquake in the surrounding area. His powers are increased dramatically. After activating this power, he generates several blood fields instantly. These blood fields create craters hundreds of meters in diameter and shred apart buildings. Blood Phoenix, a more powerful form of the Blood Wing stage. In this state, Cadis Etrama Di Raizel gathers all the blood he mustered accompanied by his blood wings and transforms into an enormous phoenix of blood. The phoenix strikes its target with incredible power. The impact is strong enough to appear as a bright crimson flash on the planet's surface. The victims' bodies shatter into numerous small blood crystals, and their souls enter eternal sleep, meaning death. Hemokinesis. Raisel has the power to control the individual blood cells within his enemy's body. He can use this ability to cause blood vessels to burst, possibly by changing the temperature of the blood, stopping blood flow, solidifying/crystallizing blood, limiting/cutting off speech by filling the larynx with blood, filling the lungs with blood, tearing bodily tissues and flesh apart, initiate swelling, rupture vital organs or even break bones by causing the blood forming within them to exert massive pressure. This results in extreme pain for the enemy and is one of Raisel's darker powers. Void Hole. By exerting more power, Raisel can manifest a void hole at an enemy that he sees. Any enemy affected would be slowly sucked into it. It is like a hole that is eating up the enemy from the point of contact. The effects of this ability can be enhanced furthermore if Raisel exerts more of his soul, down to the point whereby the suction speed and magnitude increase immensely, with the enemy ultimately, in the end, wiped out of existence. Trivia. Raisel is of Old Greek, Latin, and Yiddish origin. It means rose. Roses symbolize balance. Cadis refers to the Arabic a with makron/qadi. In Arabic, it means judge. Etrama is a combination of three words derived from Latin and Sanskrit. Et means and ra means fire which burns away sins, and ma means bestows happiness. D is Latin meaning two or double. Together, his name means ultimate judge of the rose or the fire and judgment that burns away sins, bestows happiness, and brings balance. In high school DxD as Cadis Etrama Di Raizel. Chapter 1. Sea of Nothingness. I was floating in this dark space. I don't know what to do. I can't move my body, all I can do is let myself float. I wonder how I got here. I was just watching the latest episode of the anime I like. And then, I can't remember after that, what happened I wonder. But maybe, I'm dead now? I guess I am. I already knew I would sooner or later die. But I'm glad, I will not feel all the pain and suffering when I'm alive. My only regret would probably be not seeing the endings of the animes I like. One Piece is one of them. I wonder if Luffy eventually gets One Piece or how they got it. Now that I think about it, I can't watch and read all those great shows and novels, manga, or LN. Sigh. Well, I guess there's nothing I can do about it. But I wonder how long I've been here, and what will happen to me after this. I don't care much even if I died, and I was just grateful that my pain and suffering are gone now. Time passed, and there was still nothing happening. The soul that was drifting in this void was getting bored now. But just then, he disappeared with a light covering him. Ugh! What was that bright light? I was almost blinded by it since it was so bright. I wonder where it came from? Now that I look around, I'm in a different space from where I was previously. The place I was in now is full of lush grasses, with trees growing around. I also noticed that I am near a lake. I looked around more and saw an old man sitting on the docks holding a fishing rod. I decided to walk towards him. After I arrived near the old man, I asked politely, can I ask where I am? I ask him, but based on what happened so far, I can deduce some things. Oh ho ho, what a polite young man. Come sit down first, the old man chuckled before a small chair suddenly appeared out of thin air. I was amazed at it, and now I think my hypothesis is right. I hesitated but finally speak my thoughts. Are you perhaps God? And am I dead? I asked politely. The old man then stopped fishing and the fishing rod disappeared. He then stood up and faced me. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Ho ho, you can call me that, but I prefer being called Lord A. And yes, as you've thought previously, you are dead. He said to me, hearing that I sighed once again. Then why am I here? Why am I not in heaven or hell, or whatever place I would go to in the afterlife? I ask because this is what confuses me. To answer your question, it's because you are chosen out of the countless soul to have a chance at a new life with your memories intact. But there is a price, you need to do some work for me. So it's like that from the fanfics I read, huh? I accept then, but can you please tell me the work I need to do? Or if I can get some wishes or something. I ask so I can understand more. And why I agreed. Well, of course, it's been my dream to get Ice Guide. What an interesting fellow you are. Very well, the work you need to do is, make me entertained. Just live your life however you want and I will watch, but of course, I wouldn't watch some private things. It's just my way of releasing my boredom, and watching you live your life will probably be entertaining. And you will get 3 wishes. And don't worry, you will still have your memories. Is that all? I was dumbfounded by his answer. I mean, I am thankful for the second chance at life with my memories intact. Ho ho, don't be surprised by the reason. If you are as strong and old as me, you can understand. Anyway, say your 3 wishes, but no super op stuff like the 3 omnis, okay? He chuckled, I think he can read my mind. Well, with his strength that's not surprising. I took a deep breath then, alright, my first wish is super growth skill, which lets me become stronger faster with a multiplier of 5x. And the second wish is all of the Noblesse, Raisel's abilities and bloodline without the side effects of using up the life force. Lastly, I want an inner world where I can train, and there should be a time dilation of 110, 1 day outside is 10 days inside, and can it have the function of changing gravity inside at my will? Is it acceptable? I asked warily. For your first wish, you still need to train to become stronger. It's not like you can become stronger just by doing nothing, and yes, the multiplier is acceptable, meaning your training will yield you 5x the effect. For example, you trained for an hour, but due to your super growth skill, that will be multiplied by 5. And your result will be like you trained for 5 hours, but in reality, you only trained for 1 hour. As for your second wish, it's considered 2 wishes, but I will allow it. And although you will have his abilities, you will still start from the bottom, and you need to train to get to Raisel's strength and beyond. And as a bonus, I will give you his appearance too. Neat, isn't it? With that, you can get the ladies, ho ho ho. Lord A laughed jovially. As for your third wish, it's acceptable. But you can only enter your inner world by the age of 10, as for why I set it at 10. It's because your new body will need to adapt to your new world. Anyway, the world you'll go to will be decided by spinning this wheel. After he said that, a wheel with many choices appeared, and there was also an arrow pointing downwards at the top of it. I walked over and spin the wheel. I waited for a bit and it finally stopped. Oh, it's high school DxD. I just sighed and accepted it. Although I know it is a dangerous world, but I'll just be careful. I am already indebted to him since he gave me this second chance at life, and I'll thoroughly enjoy it. I then bowed towards him. Thank you once again for this chance. I'll never forget this chance you gave me. Ho ho, don't worry about it. Anyway, I will create a body for you, and as I said earlier, it will look like Raisel in the future after you grow up. That's because you will reincarnate there as a baby. Do you have any request? Where do you want to go, or it's random? I think for a bit, what place would be the best starting place for me? I got it, I think that's the best place for me, and I can also get some early training there. Then, can you please have me taken care of by Azazel? Kind of like how he took in Vali after he ran away from his family. I think being part of Grigori would be the best start for me. And please make me the same age as Vali. Yep, that's my decision. There were better choices, but I have a feeling that this is the most suitable one for me. Very well, I must say, although not the best choice you can get, it's better than most. Then this will be farewell for now, see you later and enjoy your new life. Lord A smiled at me and waved. I returned a smile to him before I was transported to my new world. I wonder how my life would be from then on. Chapter 2, Azazel. Crackle. Boom. It was evening, and currently, there was rain and thunderous sounds outside. Meanwhile, inside a mansion, a tall man was appearing to be middle-aged, with an average build, black hair, golden bangs, and a black goatee. The man is currently sitting on a couch, and he was holding a baby. Yatter, what should I do with you now? Azazel muttered. Sigh, I suppose I will take care of you now. I don't know why I thought of that, but whatever. He said nonchalantly. Meanwhile, the baby he was holding suddenly opened its eyes, showing a scarlet-colored eye. Azazel was surprised upon seeing the eyes of the baby. It was not the usual eyes of a normal baby. This one seemed to contain wisdom. The baby stared at Azazel for a bit before giggling. The giggle brought Azazel out of his thoughts. He once again looked at the baby before smiling. Haha, I like you, little guy. Alright, I will take care of you and I will train you to become strong in the future. You're very blessed as you've got an immense amount of mana. Azazel said while looking at the baby, who returned a small smile like it understood what Azazel said. Looks like you're also smart at, alright, from now on your name will be Raisel. Your full name is Cadis Etrama Di Raizel, it was written in a letter on the basket you were in. Meanwhile, RMC, which is the baby, was currently thinking. So this is Azazel. But Raisel, I guess it fits and I like the name. So I will take his name too. Looks like this is the start of my new life. Once again, thank you, Lord A. And that's how Raisel met Azazel, who took him in. 6 years later. Underworld, Grigori's library. Inside the library in Grigori, there is a boy with black hair and scarlet eyes who is currently reading a book. He was currently seated in a chair with a table in front of him. On top of the table, there is a pile of books. There are also other people in the library, but no one was near the boy. The people in the library was just looking at the boy from afar. Most of them have curiosity or fondness on their face when they look at the boy. I see, so that's how it works. The boy, or more specifically, Raisel, thought. It has been 6 years since he reincarnated in this world. Some things happened during the past 6 years. Raisel grew up, and when he was 3 years old, Azazel taught him things about the supernatural, as Azazel thought it would be better for Raisel to know the truth about their world early. Azazel also taught him things like magic or magic control. Of course, Raisel wasn't taught advanced spells like teleportation. He was also hailed as a prodigy due to how fast he learned things. Azazel often boasts about Raisel as the former treated him like a son. Of course, Raisel got quite a reputation in Grigori because of that. He was also close to the Cadis. He doesn't know the reason though, maybe he got Raisel's charisma. But he didn't think much of it as he focused more on how to get stronger. Also, over the years he spent here, he developed a mix of serious yet sometimes childish personalities, very confusing, I know. And after 3 years when he started his magic training, he already learned many things. And now, he was just reading a book about a topic he was curious about. It was Senjutsu and Toki. He was interested in it due to his aura. Toki was closely similar to the aura from Noblesse, and Senjutsu is just a bonus. So in summary, Toki is controlling one's life force and using it to create an aura around the user. It's basically aura which I can use, but its use is not as versatile as aura. Raisel concluded after reading the book about Toki. It was the truth, aura has more applications than Toki. The former can be utilized like Toki to enhance the body. But there are also other applications of aura, like using it to actively attack. While Toki is certainly powerful as well, it's mainly a support type of power as it focuses on enhancing the overall body or weapons. As for Senjutsu, it's certainly an interesting way to use life force. There are some interesting uses for it. Sadly, most of its uses can also be done by aura, so it doesn't have much use to me. Raisel muttered. What he said was true. While Senjutsu is very versatile if used correctly, he can already do what Senjutsu can do using his aura. And the fundamental thing about his powers is based on his life force, he can easily manipulate it at will. In other words, he can easily use either Toki or Senjutsu if he wanted. Though it may not help him much, there is a use of Senjutsu which he was very interested in. Among the techniques in Senjutsu is a transformation technique, which allows the user to make themselves grow into an older state through using methods such as gathering natural ki. Let's go to the training room for this. Raisel then stood up and used telekinesis to carry the books he read and returned them to where he got them. After that, he went to the training room, but he was surprised upon arriving there as there was no one there currently. Usually, people were training inside, so he was surprised to see no one currently there. Maybe they were busy? But it's perfect for me as no one can disturb my training. After that, he then started to try and use Senjutsu. Although he doesn't have a teacher for Senjutsu, Raisel was sure he can use it effectively. As mentioned previously, he can easily feel his own life force, which is the fundamental thing in how Senjutsu works. So with that, he focused on controlling his life force, which is also called ki. After some time, he was now covered in a scarlet aura. And no, it is not his aura but it's Toki, which is a technique that can be utilized by a Senjutsu user, meaning Raisel succeeded. Now let's try using Senjutsu further to try that transformation technique. But then a frown appeared on his face, so this is why it was said to use Senjutsu in caution. The malice in the world certainly can taint a being if they are not careful. Looks like, I will not use Senjutsu for now. I need to think of a way to filter the malice first before I can use it properly. He thought before stopping. He then just did his usual magic training. Chapter 3, Request. So much paperwork to do, sigh. Azazel sighed as he stared at the pile of paperwork he needs to do. As the current Governor-General of Grigori, of course, he has many paperwork to finish. Shut up and do your work properly, you have always been drinking so the paperwork is stocked up. A man beside Azazel reprimanded him. He has the appearance of a handsome man in his 20s, with silver white hair and purple eyes. While he wore an outfit that consists of a purple beret hat, a purple trench coat over a black vest, white pants, and black boots. This man was the current Vice-Governor-General of Grigori, Shemhazai. I know, Shemhazai, this is why I want to retire soon from this position, Azazel said before muttering the last part, but of course with enhanced senses, Shemhazai heard what he said. Why can't you be like Raisel, he's a very hard-working kid. Shemhazai scoffed at Azazel, who just ignored him. Just then, they heard someone knocking on the door. Knock asterisk knock asterisk. Come in, Azazel said while still doing his work. Soon after, the door opened and Raisel entered. Raisel saw Azazel reading some documents or reports, while Shemhazai was beside Azazel supervising him. He smiled a little at the sight. Oh, Raisel, what brought you here? Do you need something? Shemhazai asks curiously, while Azazel stopped reading the documents in his hand and looked at Raisel. I want to go to the human world. I want to explore there. Raisel nodded and answered directly. The two were surprised a bit but quickly recovered. After all, Raisel hasn't left Grigori for the last 6 years. He stayed here, and never once got out, so it's normal for him to be curious about different places. Alright, where do you want to go? And do you want someone to go with you? Azazel asked after some thinking. He wasn't that much worried for Raisel, not because he doesn't care about him but because he knows Raisel has sufficient strength to protect himself. And also because he already has preparations. Raisel has the natural physical strength of the nobles which continues to grow along with his age, although Azazel and others don't know the reason for his physical strength. But they just thought of it as him being blessed with that physical strength, as although rare, there have been humans, which they thought he is, to have physical strength above normal people, with some that can even rival low-class beings. And Raisel also knows magic, although not advanced, it's sufficient enough to kill low-class beings if he utilizes them correctly. No, I don't need someone to go with me. And can you teleport me to the town of Kyoto? Raisel replied after some thinking. Alright. Azazel agreed after some thinking, while Shemhazai just listened. Although Azazel was confused as to how Raisel knew about Kyoto, he didn't say it out loud. Oh, but be careful when you arrived at Kyoto, currently that's devil territory with the current ruler Claria Belial. But I don't think she will discover you, as you can hide your mana signatures extremely well. But just in case, I'll give you a device to hide your mana. Azazel said. Thanks, Raisel replied with a smile, while internally he was happy too. I can finally meet Hyudo Issei. You can train, for now, I'll give you the device later. And you can go tomorrow, I'll get you near Kyoto. Azazel said, to which Raisel nodded before leaving the office of Azazel. Are you sure? It's dangerous for him, you know. Shemhazai said after some hesitation. He can handle himself, he's also mature for his age. I don't know why he wants to go there, but just let him be. Besides, you know how well he can hide his mana. Even me, you, or other cotters can hardly feel his mana if he hides them. And we needed to be near him too to feel it. Azazel paused for a bit before continuing, he will be okay, Claria Belial is only at most high class in strength. And besides, do you think I will let my son go alone without a guard? Of course, I'll assign a guard. Call Jake here, I will give him that job. Anyway, he doesn't have much to do. Azazel said to Shemhazai, who just sighed. Alright, but do your job properly. Shemhazai sternly said. Sigh, really, he will send an ultimate class fallen angel to guard Raisel, well whatever. He thought before using magic to call the fallen angel called Jake. Meanwhile, with Raisel. He was now in the training room. He was with a man today, which is also one of the cotters of Grigori. The man has the appearance of a middle-aged, gruff-looking man with black hair, a matching beard, and a muscular body. Uncle Barakil, can you train me in hand-to-hand combat today? Raisel asked in his childish voice. Though he may act more mature for his age due to having his memories of his previous life, Raisel also acts childish at times. Maybe it's because he was now in the body of a child which affects his behavior sometimes. Alright, I'll teach you hand-to-hand combat. But I'll only teach you the basics first. Yes, then let's start, Raisel said excitedly. He only did magic training previously, so he was excited to learn new things. After all, his current goal was to become stronger, so the more he knew about combat, the more beneficial for him. Alright, be ready, as I will not be lenient even if it's you, Barakil said sternly. Yes, I understand. Raisel nodded in confirmation. After that, his hand-to-hand combat training started. And just like Barakil said, he is not lenient when he tried Raisel. During training, Raisel got hit by Barakil's punches. But of course, Barakil limited his strength to just be slightly stronger than Raisel, as if he used his full power, Raisel will die. Luckily though, Raisel has enhanced regeneration due to being a noble. So he ignored most damages and focused seriously on training. And true to his title as a prodigy, or more like because of his super skill and various mind-reading abilities, Raisel learned quickly. Which surprised Barakil quite a bit. Chapter 4, Going Out. The next day, Raisel was called in by Azazel in his office, so he went there. He arrived after a few minutes of walk and knocked on the door first. Knock asterisk knock asterisk. Come in. After getting permission, he entered and saw Azazel holding a necklace of some kind. It was a necklace with a simple design, there is a thin chain and a small pendant and the shape of the letter R. Azazel looked at him after he entered and smiled. Wear it, this can hide your mana so you don't need to worry. And it's tested and proven by our researchers, although it can only hide the mana of someone ultimate class and below. So it won't work with us. Azazel said while handing Raisel the necklace. The latter grabbed it and wears it around his neck. After seeing Raisel wearing it, Azazel nodded, Good, there's no mana leaking from you. With this, you are good to go. Then let's go now, Raisel said with gleaming eyes full of curiosity, interest, and excitement. Yes, you're too excited. Anyway, before we go, I'll get you in the afternoon before sunset. So be sure to wait for me near where I'll drop you off and don't wander too far. Yes. Raisel nodded, and after that Azazel teleported them outside of the underworld and onto Earth. The two appeared in a forest just outside of Kyoto town. Azazel then said goodbye to Raisel, who was clueless that an ultimate class fallen angel was guarding him in the shadows. Now, Raisel was wearing some casual clothes as he walks the streets. He was now inside of Kyoto. While walking he used mind-controlling powers to make the people around not pay attention to him. So this is Kyoto, it's my first time outside since arriving in this world. I don't see any particular magnificent sights, but in the future, some troublesome events will happen in this very town. He thought while looking around curiously. He watched the people around. He already learned the language here by using his mind-reading ability coupled with some other ability he got. He easily learned about the language as well as the area using his abilities. He walked around seemingly aimlessly, but he has a goal, and that is to meet the future Red Dragon Emperor, Hyodo Issei. As for why he wanted to meet him, he has no particular reason other than to see a child Issei when he is not perverted yet. And maybe become friends with him. After all, Raisel doesn't have a friend which is near his age. He also wanted to meet Akeno as she was the same age as him, but he can't just tell Barakil he wants to meet her. That's because he shouldn't know Akeno yet. After walking around for a bit more, Raisel stumbled upon a park. He looked around curiously and saw many kids with their parents playing around. But what caught his attention was two kids. One of them is a boy with brown hair. Along with the brown-haired boy is another boy, playing with him. Oh perfect, so that's Issei and Irina when they're kids, huh? Raisel thought before walking over to the two kids. When he arrived near the two, he asked them cheerfully, "Can I play with you too?" Raisel asked. Issei and Irina looked where the voice came from and saw Raisel. The two were momentarily surprised before Issei replied cheerfully, "Of course, you can, right Shido-kun?" Issei said. Irina snapped out of her thought after hearing Issei, "Yes, of course, let's go play," she excitedly said. So Raisel along with the two played together. While playing, Raisel observed the two with curiosity. He can't imagine this two would be battling strong beings in the future. He played with them for hours. He also enjoyed his time with them. He easily became friends with the two. After that, it was now nearing sunset. After saying his goodbye to the two, Raisel then went back to where Azazel teleported previously. He arrived and waited for a bit and Azazel came. "Did you have fun?" he asked. "Yes, quite a bit. I want to go back here more often," Raisel replied with a smile on his childish face. "Haha, alright then. You can go back here." Azazel just laughed before he teleported him and Raisel back to Grigori. Meanwhile, Raisel's guard which was hiding also went back. After they came back, Raisel didn't stay in Azazel's office for long and directly went to his room in a separate dormitory. They have several living areas in Grigori. Arriving in his room, Raisel just sat on his bed and thought back to the things that happened. Due to his knowledge of the future events or plot of this world, he focused on getting stronger, which resulted in him not getting to enjoy his new life. But when he played with Issei and Irina, he remembered that his wish when he reincarnated here was to thoroughly enjoy this world. And when he played with those two, he enjoyed his time for the first time and not worrying about future events or dangers. It's just him enjoying his childhood with friends. As he thought of that, a smile appeared on his face. At that moment, he decided he will go back to Kyoto to play with Issei and Irina. Yes, I'll go back. Of course, I won't neglect my training, after all, I need strength first to truly enjoy this world without caring. Raisel clenched his tiny fist as his eyes burned in determination. After that he decided to train his aura control. He trained hard as aura has versatile uses which he plans to use in the future. He trained for a few hours before ultimately sleeping. After all, though he got a large amount of stamina, he is still a child. Playing the whole afternoon and then doing training tired him, so he needed rest for now. Chapter 5, 2 years. I wonder what the old man wanted to talk about. A kid about the age of 8 thought while walking a wide hallway. There were people, and whenever he passed by them, the people bowed their heads. It has been 2 years since Raisel's first time going out to Earth. Many things happened, one of them is he frequently visited Kyoto after his first visit there. His friendship with Issei and Irina became more solid, as the three got closer. But unfortunately, Irina along with her family moved away to Europe. Raisel knew the truth of the matter, which is because Shidotoji, Irina's father, killed his former subordinate Meisei Miyagaki, who was in a relationship with Claria Belial, the ruler of Kyoto at that time, who was also a devil. Although, the said reason they were hunted and killed was because of their relationship, an exorcist and devil. But Raisel knew that was not the truth, but he didn't mention it to anyone. Irina leaving made Issei cry at that time. While Raisel just stayed silent, as he knew they will meet again in the future. He was even laughing at Issei in his mind at that time, as until the end, Issei never recognized that Irina was a girl. During the past 2 years, he also became stronger. At the age of 8, he got high-class strength. Well, that's his base form. This kind of strength is few his age could achieve, except a few beings. Finally, after a few minutes of walking, Raisel arrived in front of Azazel's office. As usual, he knocked on the door. Knock asterisk knock asterisk. Come in. Raisel then opened the door and entered. But upon walking inside, he was momentarily surprised but quickly calmed down. The reason for his surprise is because of a kid who looks to be the same age as him. The new kid has dark silver hair and light blue eyes. Volley. Raisel thought before turning to Azazel, so, why did you ask me to be here? He asked. Haha, before that, let me introduce you to him. Azazel pointed at the kid who remained silent. He's Volley, take care of him. Volley, this is Raisel, you can ask him for his help. I was right, so it's the time when he ran away from his grandfather and father. Raisel looked at Volley briefly before introducing himself. Nice to meet you, I'm Raisel. As he said, just tell me if you need help, I will help if I can. He said while smiling a bit. Volley. That is all Volley said and didn't say more. Raisel just nodded as he understands Volley's situation. He just went through abuse from his own family, so Raisel can understand he wouldn't trust people easily. But, Raisel can feel the sadness that Volley was feeling. How he felt it is because of his aura and senjutsu. Yes, during the past 2 years he found, or more like created a method that filtered the malice in the atmosphere before absorbing the ki in it successfully using senjutsu. So now, he can use senjutsu just fine without the risk of being tainted by the malice. Few people knew he can use senjutsu though. After all, he knew there are spies in Grigori. So, why did you call for me? Raisel asked once again. He knew there is another reason he was called here by Azazel. And he was right as the fallen angel talked. I need you to do a mission, Azazel said in a serious voice. Then he handed Raisel a document with the details of the mission. Raisel just nodded and grabbed the document. He was not surprised after he heard he will do a mission. After all, he is considered an agent of Grigori. Although he is just 8 years old, he also got the strength of a high class, so it's normal. Then, I'll take my leave first. I'll prepare for the mission. Raisel waves his hand and walked out of the office. Now, Raisel was walking down the hallway in the direction of the dormitories where his room is located. While walking, he read the contents of his mission. It was an easy mission. It was only about dealing with some stray or rogue fallen angels that are terrorizing a small town. The problem though is that these idiotic fallen angels are currently inside the territory of the Norse pantheon, And if they're left for long, it will cause a problem. Although the Norse pantheon could certainly deal with those fallen angels, Azazel said that Grigori will deal with them as they were once part of Grigori. So it could be said to be a faction problem, so the Norse pantheon didn't meddle easily. Luckily though, they are just small fries. A bunch of low-class fallen angels along with some stray exorcists. So this job was perfect for Raisel as a perfect first mission and also a way for him to finally debut into the supernatural world. From what he read in the document, Azazel already got permission from Odin, who is the current head of the Norse pantheon. It seems like Azazel is friends with Odin, not surprising as the two were perverted old men. After a few minutes of walking, Raisel arrived at his room in the dormitory. He quickly entered and decided to do some aura control training first. It's also his way to relax as he will go do a mission tomorrow. After a few hours of training, he also prepared some things. That night he didn't get much sleep as he thought about his mission. Although he appeared calm when he accepted the mission previously, he was a bit nervous in reality. After all, he knew the meaning of dealing with those rogues, it means killing them. And since he accepted the mission, it will be his first time killing someone. Raisel also knew he had to do it sooner or later as he was part of the supernatural world. The next day, as morning came, Raisel also woke up. Then he arranged his bed, did his morning hygiene, and lastly prepare for his mission. After his preparations are done, he decided to go now by using teleportation to go near the town where he needs to deal with the Rouge Fallen Angels. Chapter 6, Mission. Raisel finished teleporting, he looked around and saw he was in a forest. But with his aura detection, he could feel some people a few kilometers away from where he is. Alright, so I am a few kilometers away from my target. He thought, and soon after he flew at a fast speed towards the location of his targets. Of course, he also hid his presence and mana signatures. He stopped 100 meters from the town, then landed. From then, he entered the town on foot. As usual, he used mind control to get the people around to ignore him. Currently, he was not in his child form. He used the transformation technique in Senjutsu to transform into his adult form. As for the reason, well, it's because he was more comfortable with this form. And he can exert more power in this form too. Anyway, as Raisel walked into the town, he also surveyed the area for where could his targets are right now. It was currently afternoon nearing sunset, so he can't carelessly attack as it will gather too much attention. So he just walked around and see the possible locations of his targets, or if they are still in town. He was waiting till night to strike them. Night. A shadow could be seen on top of a house near an abandoned church. This is Raisel, he was now ready to strike his targets. It was now nighttime, a perfect time to attack. 5 guards outside and I can also feel more presence inside. Raisel thought before locating his targets. He was trained in Grigori for this kind of thing, which is why he knew what to do. First, he needed to kill the guards outside. Then put up a sound-cancelling barrier around the church so no noise of their battle will be heard. Then lastly clean up the place before leaving. So with that thought, Raisel started his attack. From a distance, he controlled the blood of his targets. He stopped the blood flow of his targets, and soon enough his targets started suffocating due to lack of oxygen. This is one of his darker powers, as whenever he uses this, his enemies will suffer. While his targets are suffocating, he put up the sound-cancelling barrier. He also decided to finish his targets quickly to get them out of their suffering. Creating blood out of thin air and shaping them into arrows, he then threw the arrows using telekinesis to attack his targets. Puchi *. One by one, his targets who were suffocating earlier were shot by an arrow made of blood in the head, killing them directly. After his first kill, he had the urge to vomit but force himself not to. Ugh! He then entered the church. He was also holding 2 swords made of blood. When he entered, he saw that inside it was dark. There's also no presence around, except the presence was underground. So they're in the basement, alright, time to finish them quickly. While thinking so, he runs towards where he detected the entrance to the basement of the church. Just a few moments later, he was now in the basement. His targets are also ready to attack him. Just after he arrived, he was attacked with various light spears, magic spells, etc. Raisel quickly put up a barrier using his aura. Boom! There is an explosion after the attacks hit his barrier. Luckily he already put up a barrier so no one should hear the explosion. Smoke and dust filled the surroundings after the attacks. Swoosh, asterisk. Raisel then dashed out of the clouds of dust and smoke. His targets were surprised and couldn't react in time. Raisel already arrived in front of them. Slash asterisk puchi asterisk. Using his 2 blood swords, Raisel slashes the nearest enemy, which caused blood to splash onto him. But he ignored it, and quickly changed targets. His enemies couldn't react as he is extremely fast, and Raisel continued to attack them without mercy. He also didn't use magic to attack. If he attacks with magic, the church will collapse. Ah! Screams filled the basement as Raisel killed them one by one without them even fighting. It was a massacre. The basement was filled with the scent of blood. Bodies scattered around, some cut in half, while some missing limbs. The internal organs were scattered around. And Raisel stood in the center of it all. Huff, so this is how it feels to take a life, huh? Raisel muttered before using a bit of magic to clean himself of the blood that got on him. Then he piled up the bodies and burned them with fire magic. After the corpses were burned, he then cleaned the place. Using a bit more magic, soon enough the blood was gone now. Although, the lingering smell of blood is still there, at least it was clean now. After he was done, Raisel used a wide-ranged memory-altering spell to erase the memories of the fallen angels and stray exorcists from the townspeople's minds. After that, he left the place using teleportation. He teleported directly to his room and rested. After all, he was mentally tired as he just had his first kill. Soon he fell asleep in his bed. The next day, Raisel woke up and did his morning hygiene. And then, he walks out of his room and went to Azazel's office. He teleported in front of Azazel's office and knocked on the door. Knock asterisk knock asterisk. Come in. He entered and saw Azazel doing work. Oh, are you done with the mission? Azazel asked after seeing Raisel. I've dealt with them already. There are no casualties in the town after I checked. I also erased the memories of the townspeople about the targets. Raisel nodded and said his report. Azazel nodded, good job. You can do what you want as there's no mission for you for now. He said. Then I'll go to Earth to enjoy. Raisel nodded. Anyway, go now, I've got many works to do, Azazel said before signaling Raisel to go out of the office. Raisel complied and walks out of the office, but he heard Azazel complaining just before he left. Sigh, what a pain, I really should retire from my position soon. Raisel just chuckled and left the place. He used teleportation magic to go to Earth. He can't visit there for a month now, so he was excited to go out again. Chapter 7, Demonic Beast. Unknown location. A magic circle appeared suddenly inside an abandoned building. And a young man with following black hair and scarlet eyes appeared. I'll just travel around randomly. I don't know where is this since I teleported randomly. Raisel muttered. He was currently using his transformation to appear as his older self. He looked around for a bit before deciding to go out of where he currently is. After he got out, the sunlight hit his face. Then a smile appeared on his face. I should be far from a city as the air here is clean. So this could be the countryside. But what country am I in though? While thinking, Raisel didn't just stand there. He was using his aura detection and looking around the place. Of course, he also walked away from where he was previously. Raisel looked in a certain direction. He detected someone there. That person should be fighting something as he also felt an aura of a demonic beast. Raisel didn't think further and teleported there. Arriving in the air where he felt the person and demonic beast fighting, he saw a beautiful young foreign girl with blonde hair and sky blue eyes. She also appears to be the same age as him, which is 8 years old. Though, this is not even a fight, she probably just awakened her sacred gear. Raisel thought as he saw that the girl can make some swords which she uses to attack the demonic beast in front of her. Although she could block some attack of the monster, she was also hit by some. Her body was full of wounds now, she was bleeding too. At this rate, she would die of blood loss, so without further thinking, Raisel decided to intervene. He swiftly appeared in front of the girl and turned towards the monster. The monster was a demonic boar, which is just a low-class monster. In Raisel's words, it was an oversized boar. It stands at 2 meters in height, with a big body. But this kind of monster can't possibly compare to Raisel. Die! He said in a low voice and used his aura to attack the poor beast. He turned his aura into spears and skewered the demonic beast. After dealing with the demonic beast, Raisel turned towards the girl and cast a healing spell on her which healed her wounds. There, you're healed now. Can you tell me your name? By the way, I'm Raisel, nice to meet you. Raisel smiled towards the girl, while the latter was a bit dazed seeing his smile. Raisel was now in his adult form, so it's kinda to be expected. But Raisel forgot about that matter. The girl snapped out of her daze after a few moments. I'm Jean, nice to meet you too, Raisel. And thank you for saving me. Jean said. While Raisel was surprised as he didn't expect to meet a future member of Hero Faction. As for why he was sure, it's because he knew that the sacred gear she used earlier was Blade Blacksmith and the swords she used were holy swords. If you add all that up, you can also arrive at that conclusion. But his surprise wasn't shown on his face, he just extended his right hand to help her stand up. Jean accepted it and grabbed his hand, then stood up. But then, she saw Raisel looking away from her. She was confused and asked curiously. Why are you looking away from me? She asked. Raisel didn't turn his head and used his powers to create a brand new clothes which replaced what she currently wore. After that, he finally turned to her. There, I changed your clothes. Earlier, your clothes were damaged which showed a lot of your skin, so I looked away. I wouldn't want the FBI to come knocking on my room after all. Raisel joked a bit before chuckling. When the realization hit Jean, her face blushed. Of course, she was already aware of those kinds of things. She's more mature for her age, and she was taught early. But, why were you fighting that demonic beast? Raisel asks curiously, to which Jean showed a sad expression. It's because I was thrown out of the orphanage I was previously living in. Since I awakened this power of creating swords, I was cast out just this afternoon. And coincidentally when I was wandering around in this area, that thing you call demonic beast attacked me. I didn't know what to do but I forced myself to fight using my power. She explained, after which Raisel just sighed. There are many cases like this where someone who awakens a sacred gear would be cast out. But that's the best scenario, while the worst case scenario is being outright killed on the spot. It is harsh but at least she was alive right now. I see, I understand your circumstances. Raisel said before suddenly thinking about something, but he hesitated for a bit. You don't have anywhere to go, right? How about you go with me? Anyway you will die if I left you here, he said. Jean was shocked after hearing what he said, but she thought about it. Certainly, if she was left alone, there's a high chance she would die. And he also saved her once already, what worse could happen to her? Besides, it's not like she has anywhere to go, so the best choice for her is to follow someone. And who's better than the person who saved her already? And also, she looked at Raisel's face, he's so handsome, Kaie. She screamed in her mind. So, will you come with me? Raisel said before thinking, that sounds like a proposal, right? But then he shook his head to get those thought out. Alright, I don't have anywhere to go to. She replied, which made Raisel smile again. I think if I train her and teach her the use of her sacred gear, she could be a strong member for the group I'm planning on creating. And if I remember correctly, CAO also recruited her in a similar fashion like I did here. Maybe he saved her too and then invited her to join his team. Very well, then let's go, Raisel said, to which she nodded. Then he teleported them back to Grigori. Chapter 8, Introducing Jean. And, just saying, but Jean is not the one I'm talking about when I said, he will have a new love interest. It's someone else, and the moment she appears I think you all will know. Raisel and Jean appeared at the former's room. Jean looked around curiously. The room was neat and there are not many decorations. In other words, a very simple and neat room. Is this your room? And did you use magic? She asks. He just nodded, then Raisel transformed back to his child form. Jean was surprised upon seeing that the one who saved her is a boy about her age. Wait, you're the same age as me? She asks. Yes, my form earlier was my adult form. I often use it to disguise myself whenever I go outside. Wait, so you will look like that when you grow up? Jean blushed a bit upon remembering his look. But she was brought out of it when she heard Raisel. Yes, but that's not important, follow me. I will show you around first, and don't worry, I already promised you so you can live here. He signaled for her to follow him. Jean nodded and followed him. The two walks out of his room and went towards the direction of Azazel's office. Along the way, the people were looking at Jean with curiosity. After all, Raisel didn't interact with other members of Grigori as he was often either training or just with Azazel and some cadres. So seeing him with someone, naturally they were curious. Jean was getting uncomfortable with the stares they were getting, so she went nearer to Raisel. The latter didn't mind the stares they were getting. He was already used to it, so he just continued walking. As they walk, Raisel explained the things they walk by. Jean listened seriously to Raisel. And finally, after a few minutes of walking, they arrived at Azazel's office. Knock asterisk knock asterisk. Raisel knocked on the door and got permission to enter. So he opened the door and entered with Jean closely following him. Entering, Raisel saw Azazel busy with paperwork, the greatest enemy which even powerful beings can't escape. And Shemhazai, who is standing beside Azazel, also reading some documents. The two fallen angels also noticed Raisel entering, but we were surprised upon seeing a girl with him. Raisel, you just went out to enjoy Earth, right? And you already got a girl. Azazel said before smiling proudly, good job, you're just like me. Haha, it seems you're already a player and this young too. Raisel and Shemhazai just stared at blankly at Azazel for his joke. While Jean lowered her head before hiding behind Raisel. Sigh, can't you take a joke? Anyway, who is this girl Raisel and why did you bring her here? Azazel asks. Her name's Jean, she is a sacred gear wielder. I saved her when she was attacked by a demonic beast. I promised her she can live here. Raisel explained, before staring at Azazel. I see, so that's why. Alright, she can stay here but you will be responsible for her. I will give her a room beside yours. Oh right, Vali is also living in a room beside yours. Azazel said, to which Raisel nodded, it's not a problem for him to take care of Jean. After all, he already planned to do so as he wanted to train her to be part of his team in the future. As for Vali, if possible he also wanted him to join him but he hasn't properly talked to Vali yet. Alright, is that all? Azazel asks Raisel. Then I think we can travel around first. Then we'll leave now, thank you. Raisel said before signaling for Jean to follow him. The two then left the room and Raisel used teleportation. Raisel and Jean appeared in his room again. Do you want to go with me? I will go back to Earth to travel around first. He said to Jean. I have been curious, where are we? She asks. We are in the underworld, base of Grigori. I will explain to you later on about your powers and the supernatural world. He said. Alright, then I'll accompany you first. You can also explain to me about the things I need to know. Jean said. Okay, then let's go, Raisel said before teleporting out of the underworld. The two of them appeared at a forest. Where are we? Jean asks. We're in Kyoto town in Japan. I want to visit someone, it's been a month since I was here. Raisel replied before walking towards a certain direction. Jean followed him while looking around curiously. As usual, Raisel used mind control so people will ignore them. While walking, he was also explaining about the supernatural world. Of course, the people around can't hear what he's saying as he put up a barrier around them. Jean listened seriously to his explanation. He also explained about her sacred gear, how it came to be and who made it. He explained all the things she needs to know. So, God created the sacred gears for humans to protect themselves from other supernatural beings. Jean said. The God of the Bible created the sacred gears with the help of his angels. There are still some things but I can't tell you that yet. Raisel nodded, alright, we're here. He said as they stopped in front of a particular house. Ding dong. Raisel pressed the doorbell, and after a few seconds they heard footsteps. And then the door was opened by a woman, it was Hyudo Mickey. Oh my, so it's you Raisel. Come in, Mickey was surprised a bit seeing Raisel as he hasn't visited for a month. Raisel smiled, thank you, Aunt Mickey. And may I ask who is this cute girl beside you? Mickey asks with a teasing smile. Jean steps in front and introduces herself, my name is Jean, I'm Raisel's friend. Raisel already transmitted different language to her mind through telepathy so she can speak Japanese and some other language. Anyway come in you too, Issei is in his room. I'll call him down, Mickey said, and the two entered after removing their shoes. Then they were led to the living room and sat in the couch waiting. "Issei, come down here. Raisel is here!" Mickey shouted, and soon they heard footsteps coming down the stairs. And after a few seconds, they saw a boy with brown hair going down the stairs. "Raina, you finally visited us." Issei runs towards Raisel. "Haha, sorry I didn't visit the last month. Me and my family visited my grandma abroad, so I can't visit at that time." Raisel lied with a straight face, and of course as a kid, Issei easily believed him. "Oh right, Issei, meet Jean. She's my friend, and Jean meet Issei. He's my friend, and we played frequently," Raisel said, while Jean nodded. With a smile she introduced herself. "Nice to meet you, Issei, I'm Jean." Issei got a bit flustered seeing a cute girl introducing herself to him. Raisel and Jean just chuckled at his reaction. After that, Raisel and Jean stayed there for few hours enjoying their time there. Then they left after, and went to a new destination. Chapter 9, Kyoto Tour. After leaving Kyoto, Raisel and Jean didn't go back to Grigori. Raisel still plans on traveling around on random places, so he teleported to a location randomly again. The two appeared in a secluded alley. The two didn't stay there for long as they walked out of the alley. What greeted them is a bustling view, tall buildings, people all around them, and vehicles on the street. "Whoa! Where are we, Raisel?" Jean asks excitedly. As someone who grew up in the countryside, it was her first time seeing this kind of view. Raisel didn't answer quickly and read the minds of the people around them, while also using mind control to have them being ignored. "We're in Kyoto, this is the base of yokai faction," he said through telepathy by establishing a mind link to Jean. After all, they need to be careful as this is technically enemy territory. But luckily, Raisel can hide his mana very well, and coupled with the device Azazel gave him, it's no problem. But it's still better to be careful. As for Jean, she still hasn't trained in magic, so no worries. And her sacred gear won't be sensed easily without proper devices. "Whoa! How are talking to me directly in my mind? Is it magic?" Jean asks through the mind link. She just instinctively did it, even though Raisel still explained. "This is a mind link I established using telepathy. Through this, we can converse directly in our minds. I did this as we are in another faction's territory, but we can talk normally too. But we will talk through this mind link about supernatural works related subjects," he explained. "Alright, I got it. But what will we do here?" "Just strolling around to have fun. This is what I do when I'm bored. Come on, let's visit various tourist attraction," Raisel said, but then he heard some rumbling sound. He turned towards Jean, who has an embarrassed expression with a small blush. "Alright, looks like you're hungry. Let's eat first then," he said before grabbing her hand and going towards the direction of a near cafe. He got the information while reading the minds of the people around. While walking, Raisel noticed some yokais that were blended with the humans. Those yokais were looking around. They were probably looking for someone or just guarding the city. Raisel just ignored them, and he along with Jean continued walking towards the cafe. A few moments later, the two finally arrived. Entering, they saw a simple interior design, and the ambience of the place was very cozy. "Welcome, this way please," a waiter said to them. As for why the waiter didn't say anything about two kids entering a safe without their guardians, well, Raisel once again used his mind control abilities and made the people think they were teens. It was just a minor use but effective nonetheless. The two were led to a free table, and after which the two sat down. They also ordered food. After the waiter left them, Raisel looked at Jean, who is strangely quiet. "Is there any problem, Jean?" he asked lightly. "No, it's just I am thankful to you once again. You saved my life, then give me a place to stay, and you even treat me well. But I don't even have any use to you though, although I've got a sacred gear. I'm not strong enough to properly wield it, not have I mastered it," she slowly said. "Is that what you're thinking? Then you don't have to worry. If you're worried about your strength, then I will train you. And if you want to repay me, then become stronger first, then become part of my team in the future. You see, I need strong teammates to fulfill my plans and dream." Raisel said sincerely, and all he said was true. He has a plan on making his own group in the future. He already got some foundations for it laid, but it's only the start of his plans that we're done. He can't do the other things he planned as he needs some trusted people for that. Then I promise I will get stronger in the future, and at that time I can repay you by joining your team. I promise you that, Jean said seriously, and Raisel could feel her determination. Seeing her like that, a small smile appeared on his face. I will wait for that time then, but for now we should focus on eating as your stomach is rumbling again. He said before chuckling. Rumble. Jean blushed embarrassingly as her stomach rumbled again. The two waited for a bit before their order arrived. After that they had a fun meal. After that, the two left the cafe after Raisel paid. He got the money from Azazel, of course. Then they walked around and went to various tourist attractions in Kyoto. It was like the two were in a date. Well, it can be considered that. Wah, that was fun, Raisel. Jean exclaimed. The two of them were just walking around. It was already nighttime, and they plan on going back to Grigori after a few moments. He nodded but frowned a bit. He sensed some presence, about 100 meters away from them. But that's not why he frowned, it was because he detected a group of stray devils and were surrounding a lone young woman. And from what he felt in the young woman's aura, she was in danger. The aura of the young woman's aura is getting lower, that means she was injured and weakened. Raisel abruptly stood up, surprising Jean. What it is, Raisel? She asks. Jean, stay here for a bit. I need to do something. He said without explaining further, which confused Jean. But she nodded in agreement nonetheless. Raisel then went towards the location of the young woman who was surrounded by stray devils. He already transformed into his adult form using senjutsu, as for why it was comfortable for him, and it also lets him use more of force. And as for why he decided to help, it was in his nature. He has great compassion towards others, just like Raisel, while the latter is more compassionate towards humans. But of course, he also will not spare nor hesitate to kill enemies, and he wouldn't help someone bad or evil. He can tell whoever is good or bad by feeling their aura, it's like directly sensing their soul. As aura comes from the soul or the spiritual energy and produces. So he can easily feel whoever has bad intentions or trait. And he also could do the same with senjutsu. And just from what he felt of the young woman's aura, he knew she was not a bad person. Just a few seconds, he arrived at the location. Just in time to hear me of the starry devils say. Kakik, we finally has a chance to kill you, Yasaka. The one who said that was a high-class stray devil in terms of strength. Chapter 10, Lady Yasaka. Kakik, we finally has a chance to kill you, Yasaka. When Raisel heard that, he was surprised. Then he involuntarily looked towards Yasaka. She looked quite similar to what the show has portrayed, only in was now real life and she was younger. But Raisel quickly shook off any thoughts and focused on helping her. Without waiting for the enemies to notice, he quickly attacked. He created projectiles using blood and launched them towards the weaker enemies. Swish swish puchi. Ack. The projectiles hit the enemies directly in the head or heart, killing them. But some dodged, but it still hit their arms or legs, hindering their mobility. Shit, an ambush. You lot, get ready. The same man who spoke to Yasaka ordered. Raisel didn't stop though, as he swiftly appeared behind another enemy. Puchi spurt. With a short sword made of blood in hand, he slit the throat of an enemy. Then to finish all of them, he continued to attack. And a few moments later, only the leader is alive. He easily killed the enemies as he was faster than them, even their leader can't catch his speed. Don't move. Raisel ordered in a low voice. The leader's body stopped. The leader then looked towards Raisel, who was a few meters in front of him. He saw the scarlet glow in Raisel's eyes, which scared him. And those same eyes stared him coldly. You don't deserve a quick death. Raisel said in a low voice. Previously, when he sensed all of their aura, he also sensed that the leader of the group was extremely evil and vile in nature. Raisel felt a large amount of malice coming from the man, and the man's soul was also tainted. So he didn't kill him immediately like the others. Swish spurt. Arg, what did you do? The leader screamed, then one of his arms were severed. Blood spurted like a fountain. The man used his other arm to stop the bleeding. Raisel then got a drop of the man's blood floating on top of his index finger, then Raisel started speaking again. Your sins. He slowly said, then the drop of blood on top of his finger expanded into smaller balls of blood while glowing in scarlet color. A scarlet aura started gathering around Rai and the man, then towards the drop of blood on top of his finger. But surprisingly, Yasaka, who was watching the spectacle happen, isn't affected. It's like the scarlet aura was avoiding her. Shall be paid with your blood. Raisel continued his statement earlier. Then he pointed his finger towards the man, and slowly blood gathered around the man from his feet up to his head. He help. Arg. The man I tried begging for help, but he was completely swallowed by the blood surrounding him. The blood then turned into a blood tornado. Luckily, they were quite far from the main city, so no one saw the blood tornado. Slowly the man was disintegrated bit by bit until nothing remained. And after that, the blood tornado also disappeared without trace. And, don't judge me, I just wanted to somewhat recreate what Raisel did to Jake, in Noblesse, Awakening. Wah dash! Yasaka's mouth was agape at the spectacle she just witnessed. A high-class stray devil, easily being obliterated to oblivion. And what's more astonishing is that, the young man in front of her didn't use magic to do that feat. Don't move too much, wait for me to heal you first. Raisel turned towards Yasaka, who was getting weaker due to blood loss. So without waiting, Raisel cast healing magic to Yasaka. And after a few seconds, her wounds started healing. And her strength also started coming back, though still not full strength, but it's enough for her to stand. Thank you for saving me, I'm Yasaka. May I ask the name of my benefactor? Yasaka, who was healed, asks politely. After all, the young man in front of her just saved her. Cadis Etrama Di Raizel, or just call me Raisel. Yasaka nodded and ingrained the name in her mind. She plans on trying to investigate his identity later on after she come back. It may be impudent of me to ask, as you just saved me, but why is a strong being such as you come to Kyoto? And I am sure you haven't gone and met me previously, to tell your intentions. Yasaka asks while looking at Raisel. While the latter was still calm and answered. It's not my intention to trespass your authority, not your territory. I don't have bad intentions towards your factions. I am merely here with my friend to enjoy the tourist attractions of Kyoto. He said honestly. Hearing his answer, Yasaka nodded. She didn't detect lies from him when she used senjutsu. But then the two heard some footsteps coming towards them. Yasaka immediately raised her guard, but Raisel was calm as he already knew who was running towards them. Please be assured, Lady Yasaka. My friend is the one coming here. Raisel said softly, while Yasaka nodded and slightly lowered her guard, but still alert. Finally, after a few seconds, they saw Jean running towards them. Her face was full of sweat and her breathing was ragged. After a few more seconds, she arrived in front of Raisel and Yasaka. Ha, ha, ha. Calm down, Jean, and catch your breath first. Raisel said, to which Jean nodded. A few minutes later, Jean finally catch her breath. Then, remembering the blood tornado she saw earlier, she asks Raisel worryingly. Raisel, what was that blood tornado I saw earlier? I think it came from here, so I rushed quickly. Are you okay? She asks rapidly, but Raisel just chuckled. It's all okay, Jean. Don't worry, that blood tornado was my attack earlier. Hearing his answer, Jean calmed down but noticed Yasaka standing beside Raisel. Seeing a beautiful young woman like Yasaka beside Raisel, she got confused, so she asks curiously, Hey Raisel, do you know her? Phew, we just met, little girl. Let me officially introduce myself, I'm Yasaka, the leader of the yokai faction here in Kyoto. Yasaka introduced herself to the two as she felt that they have no bad intention towards her. Yokai faction? Ah, it's one of the faction you said to me, Raisel, right? Jean exclaimed. Yes. He just nodded, while Yasaka's curiosity was piqued but pushed it away. Then, may I invite you two to my home? I would like to thank you for saving me, Raisel-san, Yasaka suggested respectfully. After all, the young man in front of her just saved her life. So he ought to be at least respectful or polite towards him. Raisel didn't answer but looked at Jean. They were just planning on going back to Grigori, so he looked at her if she wants to accept Yasaka's invitation. He also didn't refuse immediately due to that reason, but also because he needed to consider Yasaka's position as a faction leader. Jean didn't say anything and shrugged. Raisel, seeing her reaction, just sighed in his mind. Then he turned to Yasaka and smiled politely. We would gladly accept your invitation, Lady Yasaka. Chapter 11, Guests. We would gladly accept your invitation, Lady Yasaka. After Raisel accepted Yasaka's invitation, they were led by her to the main base of yokai faction. Along the way, they met some yokais that were searching for Yasaka. Yasaka explained what happened and they finally calmed down. From Yasaka's explanation, it turns out she was just going out to enjoy. But along the way near a forest, a large group of stray devils ambushed her and surrounded her, which made it hard for her to escape, so she decided to fight back. And among them were many high class in strength. She doesn't know the reason for the attack though. After being momentarily surprised by the sudden ambush, she also managed to fight back. And as a faction leader, she naturally has the strength to back it up. But even with her strength, fighting many high-class beings, she was naturally injured too. Not only that, her strength was weakened due to some circumstance regarding her daughter's birth. Even with all that, she managed to kill most of their forces. The problem is she was gravely injured at that time. So she decided to escape, but she was also cornered by the group which Raisel later killed. And that's how the whole story went. I see, then let me thank you for saving Yasaka-sama. A humanoid crow said while bowing his head a bit towards Raisel as respect. You're welcome, we also happened to pass by there and fortunately saw her. Raisel said. Enough about that, Karasutengo lead us to my home. I've invited Raisel-san to thank him for saving me. Prepare a feast later, Yasaka ordered, to which Karasutengo, or the humanoid crow, saluted. Yes, Yasaka-sama, it shall be done. Now Raisel along with Yasaka and Jin, is sitting inside a large room. They were now in the main base of Western Yokai faction led by Yasaka. Raisel-san, may I ask if Jin-san are a member of any faction? I know it is rude to ask, but I need answer as the leader of Kyoto Yokai faction. Yasaka asks while staring directly on Raisel's eyes. Yes, we are part of a faction, but as I said earlier, we don't have any malicious intent in coming here to Kyoto. We merely wanted to enjoy our time here. Raisel said simply. Thank you for being honest. But what faction exactly are you in currently? It's Grigori, Lady Yasaka. He replied honestly. He already decided to tell her. It is a way to show sincerity towards Yasaka, and also so in the future they could build a good relationship to the yokai faction. I see, but let us forget about that. Today, I invited you two here so I could thank you for saving my life. You can go around and look around the place first. I will have someone guide you in touring our place. But please come back later as we will have a feast. Yasaka said while smiling. Thank you, Lady Yasaka. But before we go out. After saying so, Raisel transformed back to his child form, which somewhat surprised Yasaka but quickly calmed down. Is that your true age? But what did you use to transform? I could certainly tell that your transformation earlier was not merely magic. It was a true adult body. Yasaka asks curiously. That was senjutsu I used to transform. He replied calmly. Senjutsu? You can also use senjutsu? But you're not a yokai, are you a sage in training? Yasaka asks. You can think so. He says before signaling for Jin to follow him. Then Lady Yasaka, we will you're around here first. Yasaka nodded, and ordered someone to guide the two around the place first, while waiting for the feasts. Wow, this place is so beautiful. Don't you think too, Raisel? Jin asks as she look around the beautiful scenery of the Kyoto yokai faction. Yes, it's really beautiful. Raisel answered simply, but he was also marveling at the view. The yokai with them that was acting as a guide, looked proud as their home was being praised. Currently, Raisel along with Jin and a guide were touring the main base of Kyoto yokai faction. It was truly a beautiful place, with various sceneries. Along the way, they also saw many yokais walking around and looking at them with curiosity. The yokais here were very friendly too, after the guide explained that Raisel saved their leader, Yasaka. But while they were touring around, Raisel also contacted Azazel to say that he and Jin will not be able to go home yet as they are invited to a feast. Azazel, we can't go home for now. We have been invited to a feast. Raisel said through magic communication. Of course their guide hasn't noticed as Raisel hid that he was using magic. A feast at, Azazel at the other side, smirked. What were you thinking, you perverted old man? I'll tell you now, but we're in the main base of Kyoto yokai faction. We were invited to a feast after I saved Lady Yasaka from danger. He said. I see, good job. With this we can have a more friendly relationship with their faction. Alright, you can stay there with Jean. Azazel said seriously, the man should already be thinking of some plans to possibly ally with the Yukai faction. Alright, bye. After that he ended the communication and continued touring around. After they were done with the tour, they came back to the main castle where Yasaka live currently. Arriving there, Raisel and Jean were surprised to see various dishes arranged in a long table. What do you think of this, Raisel-san, Jean-san? Yasaka greeted the two while smiling. You really didn't need to do this, Lady Yasaka. Nonetheless, we are thankful for your hospitality. Raisel said sincerely. He was followed by Jean, who said her thanks too. Phew, don't worry, this is my way to thank you for saving me. Come, let's have a feast. Yasaka motioned for them to sit down, the chairs prepared. The whole setup of the feast were in a European style. It seems the Yukais were considerate enough as they took in consideration of Raisel and Jean's nationality. As the two do look like of European descent, which is true at least for Jean. After that they had a sumptuous meal with Yasaka and some Yukai elders. Raisel and Jean enjoyed the feast, as the food is delicious and the Yukais were fun to hang out with. Raisel and Jean also met Kunio, Yasaka's daughter, which is currently 1 and few months old, turning to 2 in a few months' time. They like the company of Kunio too. Unfortunately, all things must come to end. After staying in the Yukai faction for a whole night, the two left in the morning. Chapter 12, Coming Back. And, I know many of you didn't like what I did when I had Raisel save Yasaka, as she should be stronger than that. She should be easily killed off those strays. I know she is strong and essentially powered up as she is in Kyoto, but just take it as BS from me. And it doesn't really affect the story much. Equals. Early in the morning, Raisel and Jean came back from Kyoto. They stayed the night there after the party. And now, they came back to Grigori. That was fun. Jean exclaimed. Raisel nodded. Wait here, I'll go to Azazel and ask if your room is ready now. He says. Alright. Jean nodded and sat down on his bed. Raisel then teleported to Azazel's office and asks if Jean's room is ready. After getting the answer and explaining how he saved Yasaka, Raisel left the office. That day, he helped Jean buy some things she needed and arranging it in her room. Training room. Today, Raisel promised Jean that he will help her train. So here they are in the training room. But Raisel noticed another person here besides them. It was Vala, who was currently training his demonic power. He also has his sacred gear out, which is in the form of a wing. You're Vala, right? Do you need help in training? I can help you. Raisel walked over to Vala followed by Jean. I will let you help me, only if you defeats me. Vala said to Raisel, who just raised a brow but smiled. Alright, Raisel nodded, then let's start after you're ready. Jean, please go to the side first. He says, to which Jean nodded. Vala and Raisel also positioned themselves a few meters apart from each other. Vala, don't be reckless. He's much stronger than you. Albion says. I know, but I need to be stronger to get revenge to those assholes. And fighting stronger opponents will be the fastest way for me to become stronger. Vala resolutely says. Sigh, I really can't persuade you, huh? Then be careful. Vala nodded, then turned to Raisel with a serious expression. Are you ready? Raisel asks. Yes, Vala answered. Very well, then let's start. Just after Raisel says so, he already appeared behind Vala. And just when Vala felt someone was behind him, Raisel already knocked him out. Done, Jean, let's start your training. Raisel puts down the unconscious Vala and calls out to Jean. Yes, Jean replied. And so Raisel started training Jean with the knowledge he gained from his training. First of all, he thoroughly explained what her sacred gear is and what it can do. After that, he mainly trained her in sword play or swordsmanship. After all, her sacred gear has the ability to create holy swords, so it means her main combat style will revolve around swords. After a few hours, Vala also woke up groggily. Ugh! He groaned and slowly woke up. The first thing he saw after waking up is Raisel instructing Jean on using a sword, rapier to be precise. You're finally awake, Vala. I already warned you, see, you're no match for him. You're too impatient, you will become stronger eventually if you trained hard. Albion lectures Vala. I know. Vala looked down and thought back to when Raisel offered to help him train. After thinking for a bit, he stood up and walks towards Raisel. Please help me train and become stronger too. Vala said towards Raisel with his head bowed down. Raisel stopped instructing Jean and smiled a bit towards Vala. Very well, then let's start training you too. He says. And that was the start of Vala's training too. That was also the moment when they slowly became friends. A few weeks passed by and slowly, Raisel, Vala and Jeans became closer together. The three often trained together with Vala being the most eager to train. Steadily, Jean and Vala learned the things Raisel taught them. For Jean, she was slowly getting better at wielding her rapier, of course it's still not on the level of an expert. On the other hand, Vala learned things much faster. He mainly focused on hand-to-hand combat as that's his main combat style. But Raisel also taught him magic which he learned years ago. And now, currently Raisel was helping Vala train on mastering his sacred gear, Divine Dividing. Try and divide this Vala. Raisel simply said so, then cast a small blood vial in the form of a blood tornado. Vala ready himself and then try on dividing the blood tornado. Divide, divide. Albion's voice resounded every 10 seconds as Vala endured the pain he was feeling. Luckily, Raisel controlled his power and only cast a blood field with little power in it, so even if Vala came onto contact he will at most feel hurt but not much damage will be done to his body. Ha, ha, ha. Vala panted after using divide and completely obliterating the blood field. Good job. Raisel nodded as he praised Vala. Ha, but it's not enough. I need more strength and become stronger faster. Vala said with determination as he thought back to the abuse his father and grandfather had him go through, and how they treated his mother. Just thinking of it, he gritted his teeth in anger. Raisel on the other hand, didn't speak out. He also knew what Vala went through as he read the LN of high school DxD, though there must be some changes but it should be somewhat close to what Vala experienced. You want to get stronger fast? I can help you but you will feel so much pain. Raisel finally spoke and stared at Vala seriously, waiting for his answer. Vala looked towards Raisel when he heard that, the boy in front him is the same age as him. But he was weaker than the latter, Raisel. So after a few seconds, he immediately answered. Yes, please help me become stronger. Vala said in a loud voice, the two of them are the only ones in the training room today. Jean is busy reading and thinking of some new ways to use her sacred gears. As for the other people that usually trains here, Raisel requested for Azazel to let them use this training room privately. So Azazel ordered that this training room is off limits. Very well, then you will start doing physical exercises to make your body stronger so you can utilize your sacred gear more. Raisel simply says. While Vala was confused as why he needs to do physical exercises, that kind of training is easy for him who is a half-devil due to the natural physical strength of devils. But when he was about to ask Raisel, he suddenly felt a huge pressure weigh on him. It's like something heavy was on his back weighing him down. Then he looked up subconsciously and saw Raisel's eyes glowed in a scarlet light. What are you doing? Start training. Raisel says towards Vala. Currently he was using his telekinesis to put pressure on Vala. He also did this to when he was training, and since he was not a human, his growth is not affected. This should also be the case for Vala since he got devil blood, and Lucifer's blood at that. It wouldn't be appropriate if he, Vala, a descendant of the original Lucifer will have his growth affected by this kind of thing, right? Finally, after hearing Raisel's voice, Vala started doing physical exercises while under intense and heavy pressure. He can even hear his bones making creaking sounds but he endured it and continued training. Chapter 13, Injured Cat. Rai, we three should go out today. I've been bored here in Grigori, we should take a break from training. A cute blonde-haired girl is currently pestering a young boy with black hair and scarlet-colored eyes. Beside the two is another young boy with dark silver hair and light blue eyes. The dark silver-haired boy just ignored the two beside him. These three were Jean, Raisel, and Vala. The three of them just finished their daily training and was walking around Grigori, just to stroll. Raisel didn't teleport them directly towards the dorm, for some reason. It's been a few months after Raisel started helping train the two, and their strength is growing fast. Due to Raisel's telekinesis, the physical strength of the two rapidly improved. I'm not free, I need to hunt some demonic beast here in the underworld as I need them for an experiment. Raisel says to Jean who was clinging on his right arm. Jean pouted before her eyes shone, then let's go hunting, I will go with you. You should come too, Vale. It would be good for training and testing out your current strength. She says like a devil's whisper. Vale was about to refuse but hearing her say that he can test his strength got his eyes shining. Vale then turned to Raisel. Let's go Raisel, I'm sure we could hunt more if we go too. Raisel just shook his head hearing Vale, he's too easy to tempt he thought. Alright, let's go out hunting. Raisel said to which Jean smiled brightly. Raisel then teleported out of Grigori and to a random place in the underworld, but not near in the devil's territory. As they arrived at the place, Raisel quickly spread his senses and aura detection. He quickly sensed many demonic beasts, but this ones are different than the one that attacked Heian previously. This demonic beasts are much stronger, some even has the strength of high-class beings. Alright, don't go too far. There are beasts with high-class power here, so it's dangerous if any of you go out too far. Raisel warned the two. Yes. Raisel stared at the two, especially Vale, as he knew the latter would probably challenge a strong demonic beast to test his strength. But he just sighed as he can't persuade Vale. But he left a bit of his aura so he can easily detect where and if Vale's life is in danger or if he went too far and teleport there in case he was in danger. He also did this to Jean. Alright you two, bring me some beast you kill. It's not a problem if their body damaged, then let's hunt. Raisel said and the two nodded then separated to Raisel. Raisel also left and went into a direction where he sensed a fairly strong demonic beast with high-class strength. He flew in the air towards the demonic beast's location. Raisel passed by some thick and lush forests, along the way he also sensed some weaker demonic beasts trying to attack him. He just released a bit of his aura and those beasts were scared. Whoosh! He speeded up his flying speed and finally arrived at the location. It was a large lake, there are no sea in the underworld, only lakes. The demonic beast should be under the water, alright I'll just bombard it so it would come out. Thinking so, he created several blood fields in the form of tornadoes, which appeared on the lake. Swoosh swoosh. The water were being destroyed by the blood field, yet destroyed not being brought up in the air. Blood fields can destroy things which it touched and it will only not destroy things or someone of the creator of it willed so. Roar. Finally after a few seconds of bombardment, the demonic beast came out of the lake. The beast was a huge turtle-like creature with a huge shell on its back. The shell has a metallic look on it and some spikes protrude out of it along with the limbs of the demonic beast. And the beast is currently looking at Raisel in anger. Roar! It roared and opened its mouth to attack Raisel by shooting an energy blast to him. The energy blast traveled to Raisel fast, but he just calmly put up a barrier using aura. Then controlling his aura, he created spears and shot towards its head. But the demonic beast pulled its head to hide inside its shell. As expected, I guess I should finish this quicker. Raisel muttered before fully releasing his power which released a scarlet aura from his body. Then he controlled the blood of the demonic beast to stop and freeze it solid. It was within his power to do so, as he governed blood and also because he has hemokinesis. After a few minutes, the demonic beast finally died. And Raisel stored its body in a separate space he created using space magic. A very convenient magic to have. I should go see how those two are doing now. Then just when he was about to go back, he sensed a life force of someone slowly weakening, meaning that person will soon die or if by some luck she can survive. Raisel decided to check who it was, and flew towards the direction of the life force he felt. After just a few seconds, he arrived at the place and saw an injured black cat with two tails. The black cat already has its eyes closed. Raisel landed and approached the black cat as he felt familiar to it. But before thinking further, he first healed the black cat. Then he carried it in his arms and decided to go see the two. This time he directly teleported to where they first came. And from then, he called the two to come back to the place he was in. You two, come back to where we first came. I've already got a perfect sample for what I need to do. You also don't need to bring back the body of the beasts you killed. Raisel said through magic communication. Okay. Alright. The two answered and Raisel waited for them to come back. When the two come back, Raisel saw they have some injuries. Well, Vale mostly has the injuries while Jean has minimal ones. Let's go back. Raisel says to the two. The two nodded but noticed the black cat with two tails on Raisel's arms but didn't ask questions. Soon Raisel teleported them out there and directly to their dormitories. After the three came back, they separated to do their own things. Volley, of course, went to train as usual. On the other hand, Jean went to the library to read some books regarding sacred gears. Now, Raisel along with the black cat which he laid on the bed was alone in his room. The cat was still unconscious, so he decided to train his aura control first. Black cat. POV. A few hours later. Nyat. The black cat slowly woke up, it looks around confused. Then it saw a boy about 8 years of age, with black hair. The boy was currently in a meditative state, with his eyes closed and him sitting in a lotus position. The black cat laid on the bed but it was vigilant but she decided to watch the boy as it knew it was saved from danger by him. After all, it was in a critical situation and close to dying but now it was fully healed up. After a few minutes more, the boy then opened his eyes showing a scarlet-colored eye that looked beautiful yet it also gave a feeling that could see through the soul. You're finally awake, I found you in the forest close to dying. Luckily, I arrived on time so I managed to save you. The boy says so with a small smile. Meow. The black cat meowed as if thanking the boy. Are you saying thank you to me? Well if you are, then you're welcome. But you should be hungry by now, wait there for a bit okay? I'll cook you some food to eat. The black-haired boy says to the black cat, who in return meowed. Chuckle wait for me there, it won't take long. The boy then went to a corner that has a mini kitchen, then started cutting ingredients. The black cat watched intently on how the boy skillfully prepared and cooked the ingredients he got. And after waiting for some time, the food was served to the black cat on a plate. Here, eat it. The boy says while putting the plate which has the food he cooked, in front of the black cat. The cat stared for few seconds before eating. After the initial bite of the food, its eyes shined. Then it continued to eat the food at a rapid pace. Chuckle don't be so hasty, I know you're hungry but no one will steal from you. The boy says but the cat still eats swiftly. That continued for few weeks, with the boy feeding the cat. The two also slept together with the boy sometimes cuddling the cat, or the cat sleeping on the boy's chest. And now after a few weeks of living together, the black cat with two tails was currently alone in the black-haired boy's room. But then something happened, and slowly the black cat transformed. From the initial small black cat with two tails into a cute girl about the same age as the black-haired boy. The girl which transformed from the black cat has long black hair with split bangs and hazel gold eyes with cat-like pupils. She also has two cat ears and two tails, which are also black. She was also currently naked, so after she finished transforming, she searched for some clothes to wear and found some of the black-haired boy's clothes. She then wore the clothes she found. And now she was wearing a white shirt and black pants. The shirt is a bit big for her so it was a bit loose. When would Raisel come back, Naya? Kuroka muttered but she remembered her sister. Chiron, I'm sorry I left you alone but you should be safe now. If I bring you with me, you would suffer because of my crimes. And I'm not strong enough to get you back she thought with sadness. And, please note that Kuroka doesn't know that Konako or Chiron is also in danger and was almost got executed but was saved by Rias. So she thought like this, and didn't immediately search for her sister. Raisel just got back from training, and he was now in front of his room in the dormitory. Arriving, he then opened the door but was surprised to see a cute cat girl with long black hair wearing his clothes. Raisel Naya you're finally back, Kuroka says. Who are you? Raisel asks but felt like he knew her. Then it realization hit him like a bitch, wait, are you that black cat? I saved. He asks but a sudden thought came to mind too after he said that. Yes, I'm Kuroka Naya nice to meet you and introduce myself properly Naya, Kuroka says. So my guess was correct then. Raisel thought by he decided to act as if he doesn't know her yet, but if you can transform to a more humanoid form, or should I say why didn't you go back to your true form as a yokai? And why would you reveal yourself to me? He asks. Hearing his questions, a sad look appears on her face but quickly disappears. Before I say anything, I just want to say thank you. She said while bowing down her head. Don't worry about it. Then to answer your first question, I couldn't transform back as even if you healed my wounds, my powers still haven't recovered Naya. And I only recovered most of my powers after a week of staying here. But I decided to not transform back to this form and observed you Naya. And after observing you for a few weeks, I can say you're not a bad person. Which answers your second question, I decided to tell you since you're not a bad person. Nice, she says simply. I see, I understand now. Then do you have plans for what you will do next? Raisel asks. I want to become stronger. But, I don't have any plans about other things. Kuroka says. Then how about joining my team? I will help you become stronger. I will help you train, and I've got some ideas on how you can quickly become stronger. Though the process will be painful. Raisel says with a small smile, I feel like a bad uncle luring a kid with candy. But I can indeed teach her and help her become stronger. Raisel thought. I don't care if the process is painful, I'll endure it Naya, and if you can make me stronger, then I'll join you team Naya, Kuroka says seriously. Raisel nodded, and that day, he talked to Azazel and got permission to let Kuroka live at the dormitory he was in. So she was also given a room bear his room. Chapter 14, Meeting Again. Hi, why am I here? Raisel muttered as he looked around where he was currently. It was a familiar place, but he didn't know why he was there again. The place he was in now is full of lush grasses, with trees growing around, and there was also a lake. Along with a dock that has an old man fishing. Raisel walked over to the old man and asks curiously, God, did I die again? I remembered I was just back from training and slept in my room though. Ho ho ho, no, you're not dead. As for why I called you here, it's to explain some things and also for you to meet someone. God answered after laughing softly. Raisel tilted his head in confusion. Explain some things? And meeting someone? He asks. First let's have you meet that person before I explain. After saying so, God snapped his finger and someone appeared beside him. It was an extremely handsome young man with flowing black hair and scarlet-colored eyes. He wore what seemed like a formal noble attire of some kind, it was black with some gold accents. And on his left ear hang a silver cross-shaped earring. Cadis Etrama Di Raizel. Raisel muttered, feeling shocked seeing Raisel here. Raisel has a small smile on his face as he looks at Raisel. He has an expression of like he was meeting someone he knew for a long time or a close one. Yes, he is Cadis Etrama Di Raizel. Now let me explain why I called you here. First of all, let me explain how the Omniverse works or how each verse operates. There is a unique energy that the worlds produce, you can call it dream energy. Humans also produce this energy by watching, playing, or reading different works like anime, LN, manga, etc., which correspond to different worlds based on those works. And because of dream energy, the worlds in the Omniverse could work. But it also can bring harm to the worlds. If there is too much dream energy being produced, that world would be destroyed or some problems will occur in that universe where that certain world is located. God explained. He stopped to give time for our MC to digest the information first. After a few minutes, Raisel then turned to God. I understand, but why would you tell me this information? I don't think I need to know this information. He asks confusedly about the sudden explanation. Chuckle, that's where you're wrong. You need to know this information as this involves you and Raisel here. God chuckled as he says so, then he took on a more serious expression. Now then, I will explain the things involving you. First, you should know DxD, right? And the malevolent pillar gods of the EV race. God asked. Raisel nodded, of course, he knew who those gods are. Those malevolent gods and the race they lead is from a distant planet from Earth. They are from a race of mechanical life forms called the Evis, and their world is known as DxD or Evis Etald. And just like how Earth is also called DxD or Draconic Deus. The names of those planets came from the combination of the two most powerful races on that planet, which for DxD is dragons, Draconic, and Deus, gods. And the Evis are also at war with the Etald, the race of high-ranked spirit gods. The strength of the pillar gods or the main fighting force as well as the leaders of each race are also much stronger than Great Red. But he was still confused, but how are they involved? I know they will invade Earth in the future, and I've been preparing for that too. But why are they involved with dream energy and Omniverse? Let me finish first, alright, let's continue. The reason they are involved is that they, Evis, invaded the Earth where Raisel was in. They destroyed that planet after killing all organic beings there. And that's where the dream energy come in, and also you as well as Raisel. God said before continuing, due to excess dream energy which went into the universe where Raisel's Earth was in, that universe and this universe where you currently live had some contact with each other. This brings the Evis led by one of their gods, Regal Ziva, accidentally managing to slip into that universe. Then they found Earth, and invaded it, which led to its destruction along with the death of the organic beings there. After they destroyed that Earth, they came back to their home planet. But due to the destruction of Earth, the main source of dream energy of that universe was also gone. So that universe slowly crumbled before being destroyed. And this where you two come in. You are Raisel that was reincarnated in your previous world. That was because at the last moment, I managed to save 3 souls of beings there, in the universe of Noblesse. After all, it was partly my fault as I hadn't noticed the excessive dream energy gathering in their universe which led to the events. It's because I turned off my omniscience and I don't usually actively monitor the omniverse since I want it all to work freely. Anyway, I gave Raisel here some wishes. He wished for the salvation of the 2 souls I managed to save as the other souls couldn't be saved. I agreed and reincarnated them into your current world. He also wished for him to reincarnate as a normal person, but something went wrong and it caused his reincarnation, which is you, to not remember his previous memory. That's why when you died, I brought you here to give you wishes again. Then this time I checked and nothing went wrong. The information he got made Raisel extremely shocked. Many thoughts came into his mind and after a few minutes, he looked towards Raisel, which should be his first life. And the latter was still smiling at him. Then is that the reason you said I will meet someone, which is him? But why? He asks. It's because I wish to fully fuse my memories with yours so we can finally be one. Do not worry, you will still be yourself now. My memories and feeling will merely be absorbed and fuse with yours. This time Raisel answered, which surprised him as the former said many words. And please, I wish you would find those 2 in your world and get along with them. After saying so, Raisel became particles and entered Raisel's body. God merely watched the spectacle calmly as he already knew what would happen as Raisel told him. Raisel was shocked and just stayed standing without doing anything. After a few minutes, the fusing of their memories was done. Raisel got all the memories of his first life. I see, so that's how it is, Raisel muttered. Then he turned to God and bowed his head. Thank you for letting us meet. Ho ho ho, it's okay. It was my mistake that those events happened. I didn't notice the excessive amount of dream energy in that universe which caused various problems. And I can't bring back that universe too, as I can't directly meddle with the omniverse. If I did, it will cause bigger problems. I understand. But now that you know the truth, what will you do? God asks Raisel curiously. I will fulfill my promise first, and find the 2 people he wanted to save, Raisel replied resolutely. I see, then as a bonus gift from our second meeting, I will tell you a secret of your current universe. God paused for a bit before smiling. Your universe holds deeper secrets than what you know from what was shown or what you read from the work it was based on. Remember this, these universes may appear similar to those works in your second life, even if the events happening there follows the plot. They are ultimately their own existence and those works wouldn't have shown everything each universe has to offer. Also, those 2 I mentioned previously were reincarnated at the same time as you. I did so after I noticed that there were problems when you first reincarnated. I already planned by then to reincarnate you again and give you wishes, so I also made it so you can be the same age as those 2. Thank you for telling me. Raisel bowed his head. After knowing the truth about him and also his universe, he now has new plans he thought of. He also has a new goal to fulfill. Then, this is goodbye. If we have a chance, we would meet again. God waves his hand and Raisel soon vanished at the place. The next morning, Raisel woke up. He quickly did his morning hygiene and hurriedly teleported to Azazel's office. This time he didn't even appear outside but directly inside the office. Raisel saw Azazel was already doing work. Azazel, can you help me find 2 people? He asks. All right. Azazel replied after hearing the question. But, can you describe who you want to find or how they look? Although, I don't know why you suddenly want to find 2 people, I won't ask. He continued. Let me draw their look first, give me a piece of paper, Raisel says, and Azazel handed him a pencil and paper. Raisel then started drawing 2 particular faces of 2 kids. One girl and one boy. The girl has long black hair while the boy has shoulder-length blonde hair. As for why he knows drawing, he did some in his free time. And due to his super growth skill, he learned quickly. Here, their name is Raskrea and Frankenstein. If you find them, tell me quickly. I'll explain later, why I wanted to find them. Raisel says. Azazel nodded and didn't ask further. Alright, I'll help you find them. Now go out, I need to do my work. Azazel says before having Raisel leave his office. Raisel complied and left the office, then he went to get the others, Jean and Vali, along with Kuroka, who was living near his room too. Then they went to the training room to do their daily training. Chapter 15, Reunion. And, just a heads up, but if I didn't manage to catch the personality of some characters, I'm sorry. So you found them? Raisel asks Azazel, who was in front of him. He was currently in Azazel's office, and it's been a few days since he asked Azazel for help in finding the two people. Yes, but they're very troublesome. Those two are strong too, the two of them are at the same age as you and they also have high-class strength. Both of them were in Europe, the blonde kid is in Britain. And the girl is in Romania, she currently lives in a village there. Our agents had a hard time infiltrating in Romania as the vampires are guarding it. Azazel says before giving him the document containing their findings of the two. I understand, thank you for telling me. I'll go now. Raisel simply says and grabbed the document, then directly teleported to Britain first. He arrived at an alley, and he immediately spread his aura detection to feel the familiar aura of Frankenstein. After Raisel fused all his memories and feelings, our MC's power also improve. And he also remembers the aura of those two he was trying to find. There you are. Raisel thought and suddenly felt something inside him being connected to someone. Is our contract re-established because I fused with Raisel? But he didn't dwell much on it and teleported to the location he felt Frankenstein's aura is. He arrived inside a room with various equipment, it looks like a laboratory or more like it was one. With Frankenstein's nature as a scientist, it was not surprising he would set up a laboratory here. After looking around for a bit, Raisel finally found Frankenstein. Who are you? Frankenstein asks aggressively. Looks like he hasn't felt our connection, alright, maybe if I transform he will know it's me. After thinking so, Raisel then transformed to his adult form, surprising Frankenstein, and Raisel also used their re-established contract connection to speak to Frankenstein. Now, do you recognize me, Frankenstein? Raisel asks through their mind link. Swiftly, Frankenstein kneeled on one knee. Master, my apologies for not recognizing you. But I remembered you died fighting the invaders. And I'm very confused as to how I'm alive, I remembered I also died. I will explain all later on, but first we need to get Raskrea, Raisel says calmly. Yes, Master. Raisel nodded and teleported to Romania along with Frankenstein. After arriving in a location inside Romania, Raisel quickly led Frankenstein towards where Raskrea is. Asterisk swoosh. When Raisel and Frankenstein are near the village where Raskrea currently lives, they were blocked by a group of men. These men have the same colored eyes, red. And the temperature in the surrounding area also went down. It was currently nighttime, and Raisel also noticed the shadows in the area were moving unnaturally. Frankenstein, knock them out. Raisel ordered in their mind link. Yes, Master. After saying so, Frankenstein immediately disappeared from where he is previously. Then he appeared behind the men, and he knocked them out swiftly. Well, let's continue. Raisel said before continuing towards the village they need to be. Frankenstein followed Raisel, although he was confused at the different personality of his master, he didn't ask as he already confirmed that he, Raisel, was his, Frankenstein, master. The two of them arrived at the village after a few seconds. Raisel went straight to a house in the outskirts of the village. Arriving at the front of the house, he knocked on the door. Asterisk knock. Asterisk knock. Raskrea POV. Raskrea was inside a small house in the outskirts of the village. She was currently lying on her bed thinking of the things that happened to her these past years. It's been 8 years since then. She thought she reincarnated in this world for 8 years now. She reincarnated as a baby too, she was taken care of by an old woman back then. At first, she was confused as to how she was alive again. She remembered some beings invaded their home planet and they fought the invaders but they perished. But slowly over the years, she accepted that this is the reality now. She stayed with the old woman who took her in and lived in this village for years. Of course, sometimes there were attacks on the village. And the culprits are vampires, and due to that, secretly she has been fighting the vampires and using mind control on them to not attack this village. Luckily, the ones who attacked this village were only low-class vampires, so with her strength, she easily dealt with them. Also recently, that old woman who took care of her died, so she was left alone. Fortunately, the villagers gave her some food to survive. Although, she didn't need it due to her strength. As a noble, she got higher physical strength than humans and her strength slowly grew over the past years. By now, her current strength was high class. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden knocking on the door. Raskaya released her aura detection and was surprised upon feeling two familiar auras. Her eyes widened and she swiftly stops up and rushed towards the door. And upon opening the door, she saw two people. One of them is an extremely handsome young man with flowing black hair and scarlet eyes. The other is a kid with shoulder-length blonde hair and blue eyes. Although the face of the latter was different, she recognized him. But the former, she couldn't forget his face and aura. After all, she is the man she loved, although she didn't manage to confess previously as she was busy being the lord. Asterisk swish. And after seeing the man she loved alive and in front of her, she jumped at him. From her eyes flowed tears of joy, and she was smiling. The young man, Raisel, was surprised but after a moment hugged Raskraya's small body as she was now 8 years old. Sob, I finally, Sob, meet you again, her muffled voice was heard as she tightly hugged Raisel. I'm back. A soft smile appeared on Raisel's face. Raskraya. Frankenstein just stood at the side watching the two. He didn't say anything and stayed quiet. The two stayed in their position for a few minutes before Raskraya separated from Raisel. Her face was blushing in embarrassment. Raskraya, I've come to get you. Would you come with me? Raisel asks softly. Raskraya looks towards Raisel, then a smile appears on her cute face. Of course. Then let's leave now. Raisel says and the two nodded. Raisel then teleported them out of Romania and went back to Grigori. A few days later. Raisel already prepared some place where Raskraya and Frankenstein could live. He also explained some things to Azazel but not all. He said that there was some information that was directly ingrained in his mind which he didn't know who put it. The information contains about things like who he is. And from that information, he got to know of those two. That's what Raisel said to Azazel, although it sounds like BS, it has some truth taught. After that, Azazel didn't ask any questions further. Raisel also introduced his new companions to the others, which are Vala, Jean, and Kuroka. When he introduced Raskraya, the two girls Jean and Kuroka somewhat became but jealous. Of course, Raisel noticed it too but he didn't say anything. And today, currently Raisel and his group were lazing around, as they just finished their training. Nay, let's go out to the human world. The one who said that was Jean. Rai is the nickname she has for Raisel, which was the same as the way those kids back in Noblesse world calls him. Alright, you guys want to come? Raisel agreed and asked the others. They just nodded and agreed, anyway they don't have things to do currently. Even Vala nodded, which surprised the others as he usually trains if he doesn't have much to do. And so, they went to the human world that day and had their fun. Chapter 16, Group Mission. Do you all want to come with me? I decided to save those children. Raisel stated to the other people with him. As usual their group was consisted of, Vala, Jean, Kuroka, Frankenstein, and Raskraya. They were currently gathered in the living room of a house Raisel bought, in the human world. Yes, he bought a house in the human world. As for how he got the money, well, Azazel is very rich so no worries. It's been a few months after the first introduction of Frankenstein and Raskraya. During those past months, Raisel officially created his own group. He already asked the others and they immediately joined. That's also why he bought a house in the human world, it was their base. Of course, they are still part of Grigori, for now. And today, Raisel gathered his group members as he remembered a certain cruel experiment conducted to children. And he decided to save those children. Raisel already explained the mission, everything he knew. From the experiment to those children, he also investigated the location of the place. Master, I will go with you. Frankenstein was the first to answer, although he might be sadistic at times, he is actually sympathetic towards humans. Back when he was still researching about a way to give humans strength so they can fight other supernatural beings back in their world, he didn't experiment humans. He actually did experiments on himself. Raisel nodded at him, I will go too Naya. Let me go too. I'll go. One by one, the others also agreed to go with him. Raisel smiled hearing them agreeing. He knew some of them could relate to those children, especially Kuroka who was experimented to, in the past. The location of the place is in Italy, meaning it is inside the Catholic Church's territory. We need to be careful as to not be discovered. Raisel said with a serious tone on his voice. After all, it is not a good if they were discovered. Although the Holy Sword project was not approved by the higher-ups, i.e. the Seraphs. But if they were discovered sneaking in the Church's territory, then that could lead to some complications, as Grigori and Heaven is still enemies now. I just hope that we're not late, and they still hasn't killed those children. Raisel thought grimly. Although he knew the location of the place, he hasn't infiltrated the place, so he doesn't know if the children were killed by now. The reason he wants to save those children is because he just wants to. But he also wants to ask them if they want to join his group. After all, some those children are sacred gear possessors and some are also very talented in using a sword. Of course, he wouldn't force them to join. If they didn't want to join his group, then he will help them find a home, and he will provide some kind of protection, though he can't be sure if he can protect them always. Alright, I'll teleport us near the place. Raisel said, to which the others nodded. Then they gathered closely and Raisel teleported them in Italy, where the Holy Sword project is located. They arrived at a secluded place near a town. Raisel then handed them a necklace which has the same function as his one, which is to hide their mana from being detected. He got it from Azazel after he requested for more. The necklace works for the others as they are still not above ultimate class in strength. Scout the area first since it's day. The place where the experiment is being conducted is just in the outskirts of this town. Come back here when it's night, understand? Raisel asked his companions. They all nodded, and soon they separated to go on their own ways. Raisel already spread his detection range and also looked around if there were exorcists guarding the town. But he mostly focused on scouting the place where the experiment is conducted. In fact, he was currently near the place hiding. He started at the facility they will raid. On the outside, it looks just like a normal big orphanage with many buildings that houses various facilities like a kitchen, or rooms where children slept. He could also see many exorcists walking around disguised as normal people. Raisel speculated that the experiments were being conducted underground as he couldn't see any researchers or scientists on top. He stayed there for quite a bit before leaving. He then called back his group members and they gathered inside a forest near. Of course, he already put up a barrier to keep normal people away. I scouted the place, and I think the experiments are being conducted underground. What about you all, did you see any exorcists or other supernaturals around the area? Raisel asked. No, they shook their heads. Alright, let's just wait till night. You can enjoy looking around first but come back when night comes, Raisel said. They all nodded and separated again. Well, more like Frankenstein and Vala left Raisel alone with the girls. And soon, Raisel was dragged by 3 girls to stroll around. Fortunately, Raisel isn't in his adult form, or else he might be mistaken as a Lilicon, as he was accompanied by 3 cute girls who are just 8 years old. They strolled around the town while waiting for the night. While no one knew what Frankenstein and Vala did after leaving Raisel with the girls. And soon time passed and nighttime came. Raisel along with his group was then near the place. Hi! Raisel thought, confused by the situation. It's because he felt that the place was empty. Then the realization hit him after that. Shit, we were busy enjoying and didn't notice those assholes already transported the children. It looks like they plan on disposing the children soon. Raisel thought before turning to his companions. Change of plans, it looks like they already brought those children out of this place. Spread out and locate where they brought them, and inform me if you found it. Raisel ordered, and soon they started their search. Chapter 17, Rescue. After Raisel ordered the others, they separated and tried to find the location of where the children were brought in. All of them flee using magic. Fortunately it was night so no one saw them. The group searched the area around the town. Raisel also transformed into his adult form, since in case he needs to comfort the children. An adult would be more reassuring than a kid, right? Master, I think I found where they brought the children. Raisel got a sudden transmission from Frankenstein. After hearing the information, Raisel immediately ordered his servant. Save the kids, and I will be there immediately. Release some of your aura so I can feel it and teleport there. Yes, Master. Raisel then spread his aura detection range and suddenly felt an aura signature in the distance. He then contacted the others and said that they found the place. Frankenstein found the place, I'll go there now. You all come to our meeting place, we will be done soon. Bye. After saying so, Raisel immediately teleported to Frankenstein's location or where he felt his aura. Whom? Frankenstein, let's save them. Raisel ordered and the blonde nodded. The two then dashed towards the place which was a large mansion. The outside was guarded but they were weaklings, so Raisel left Frankenstein to deal with them. He then dashed inside the building and saw the scientists leaving the place where he felt the children. Raisel's eyes glowed and then the scientist blew up. He controlled their blood and made them explode, that's why. His eyes were cold and indifferently stared at the puddles of blood around along with the scattered organs. No blood got on his clothes as he got a aura barrier around. He didn't stay there for long and immediately went to the room where he felt some weak life force. Arriving at the place, he saw an iron door that leads to the room. He ripped the door off, and entered. After entering, he noticed there were still residue of poisonous gas. Fortunately, the children were still alive. He sighed in relief and then immediately headed the children using magic. And soon they one by one woke up. But Raisel noticed that someone was missing. And that someone was Kibayueto or Isaiah as it is now. As for why he knew, when he looked around he didn't see someone with his features. And there's also a girl sealed by some kind of barrier-type sacred gear. But he was brought out of his thoughts, as the children's voices were heard. Huh? We're alive. Sob, Ulwaya. Raisel didn't say anything and just let them cry for now as to vent their emotions. After a few minutes, Frankenstein also came in and the children stopped crying. Then one of them suddenly saw Raisel and Frankenstein then remembered one of their friend who they didn't know if he escaped. Who are you? Seeing the kid cowering, Raisel smiled reassuringly, don't worry, we're here to save you all. Really? Yes, see I already healed you and removed the poison gas in this room. You all are safe now. Raisel said with a smile, perhaps seeing his genuine smile the children calmed down for a bit. Then, I will go now. I still need to see your friend that managed to escape, I think he was being chased by the bad guys. Stay here with him okay? I'll be back soon. Raisel said softly while pointing at Frankenstein. Suddenly the children who remembered their friend, Isaiah who they helped escaped. Please help him, please help Isaiah. They said loudly with tears on their faces. Raise nodded, and turned to Frankenstein, the latter nodded back. Seeing that, Raisel then teleported outside and dashed towards a certain direction. He felt a familiar aura there and no, it's not someone he know. It's more like the aura of a certain supernatural race. Swoosh. It didn't take long before he arrived at the location. Arriving there, he was greeted by an ice magic blasted towards him. He immediately put up a barrier using aura completely blocking the attack. Then he turned towards who attacked him, it was a beautiful woman with silver hair wearing a maid uniform. Who are you? The woman asked aggressively while readying another spell. Please calm down, I only came here because I was searching for that kid over there. Raisel replied calmly while pointing at Isaiah, Kiba, unconscious beside a cute red-haired girl. And from the aura Isaiah was currently emitting, he was already reincarnated as a devil. Leave, that kid is now a servant of our young lady. Grafia started, still alert in case if an attack. She was very wary as she can feel the strength coming from the young man in front of her. Sigh, now what to do, Raisel sighed in his mind. This was something he didn't expect to happen because of their late arrival. Very well, but I will warn you now, don't mistreat that kid. While saying so, Raisel released his full power which after a few months of training again, reached at Satan class if compared to a devil. Previously, he was high class but that's his base form meaning he has fully used his full power. His full power previously was actually ultimate class already but he hid it. The surroundings shook after he released his power and he focused his pressure onto the maid. His eyes also glowed in a scarlet glow which made him more terrifying. He didn't focus his pressure on Rias who was beside Grafia but he made her unconscious. He didn't pressure her for long and immediately released any pressure. Then, I will leave now. And Grafia, tell your young lady to train her power of destruction. After saying so, Raisel vanished from the place via teleportation. As for why he decided to pressure Grafia, it's just something he thought on the spot, nothing else, or who knows what's his plan. Who is he? His power should be comparable to a Satan-class devil. I should report it to Surtsks, but he didn't look like he had bad intentions as there's no killing intent when he released the pressure earlier. Grafia thought before turning her gaze towards Isaiah, is this kid somehow related to him? Looks like I need to tell Rias too. After that, Grafia carried the two kids, Rias and Isaiah. No, it's Ueto Kiba now as he got a new name given by Rias. Chapter 18, Returning. *Whom? I'm back. Raisel teleported back inside the place where he left the others. The kids turned towards him after hearing him, but they didn't notice anyone along with him. Tears started welling up in their eyes as they thought, he didn't manage to save their friend, Isaiah. But before they can cry, Raisel reassured them with a smile. Don't cry, your friend is safe but... He hesitated before continuing, you can't see him for now. But don't worry, I guarantee you can meet him again in the future. Really? One of the children asked. Yes, I promise you will meet him. And don't worry, he is in good hands. Raisel said, after all he knew the Gremories care about their servants and especially now, since he indirectly warned them to take extra good care of Isaiah or now known as Kiba Ueto. But now, let me ask all of you here. I know you just went through something painful and tragic but, I just want to ask. What will be your decision? I have two choices for you all. Raisel paused for a bit before continuing, one is, I will give you a new home and to some extent a bit of protection until you grow up. And the second choice is, you can join my group and I will help you train to become stronger. You can think about it and tell me later. But for now, let's get out of here first. They all nodded, and Raisel turned to Frankenstein. The latter nodded back and carried a girl which was encased in some kind of barrier. Then Raisel once again used teleportation to go back to where they decided to meet. They appeared in the forest near the town where they first appeared. Arriving there, they were greeted by the others, I.E, Jean, Kuroka, Vale, and Raskrea. Welcome back. Raisel nodded, we'll teleport back to the base. You all ready? He said the latter part to the children. After that, they once again teleported. This time their destination was the newly bought house by Raisel. Soon they appeared in the living room. Whoa! The children marveled at the sight. After all they were practically imprisoned underground to be experimented with. So seeing a new sight will surely amaze them somewhat. Chuckle good you all like the place. Because you all will be living here for now until I bought a suitable home for you all. Raisel said before turning towards Frankenstein, guide them towards the free rooms. He ordered. Yes, master. The latter bowed before obeying the command. He told the children to follow him and showed them their room. The house Raisel bought was big, because when he bought it, he kept in mind that many people will live here in the future. Back to the kids, they said that they want to stay in a single room. Frankenstein understood their feelings, and complied with their request. He brought them to a huge room and told them they will use that room. As for Raisel, he currently stared at the girl encased in a barrier. The girl was Tosca if he remembered correctly. How will you get her out of there? Vala who was beside him asked. The others was also curious. She should be encased by a barrier made from her sacred gear. Her sacred gear should be a barrier type but I don't know its specific function. It's not in the sacred gears, I know. Raisel said then thought for a bit, but Azazel could help here, he is the expert in sacred gear. We could get her out after some time. Vala nodded along with the others and didn't ask further. As for Raisel, he was thinking of some ways to free Tosca. He can't forcefully get her out as it could result in damaging her soul. After all a sacred gear is connected to her soul, so if he forcefully break it, it could lead to some damage, so he opted to get Azazel's help. Anyway, you can go do your own thing now. I'll continue my experiments too. While saying so, Raisel used telekinesis to carry Tosca who was inside a barrier. He then walked towards a certain direction where his laboratory is located. It was underground, he planned on testing some of his theories. As for Tosca, he needs to watch her to see if something happens. Underworld. Meanwhile, a certain silver-haired maid was currently on the office of one of the leaders of the devils. It's a certain red-haired Siskon who was currently listening to the report of Grafia. I see, thank you for the report, Grafia. Sertsk said before going silent as he thought about the contents of the report. This is quite troublesome, but for now, take extra good care of that new servant of Rias. And try to see if you can get the identity of that man from the boy if he knew something. Understood, then please excuse me. Grafia said. Sigh, you know, you don't need to be so formal with me. I'm your husband, you know, Grafia. Sertsk said after sighing. No, as a maid I can't do that. Then, if that's all, please excuse me. Sertsk just shook his head, he can't win against his wife as she's stubborn. He just smiled wryly before going back to doing his work. But while working, he also thought about the contents of the report of Grafia. From her report, she said they met a powerful young man comparable or even stronger than a Satan-class devil. And being as powerful as that is quite troublesome. After all, they don't know if he is part of some faction, but Sertsk opted to believe that the young man was part of a faction. But he was relieved too, as from what Grafia said, when the young man released pressure to target Grafia, he didn't have killing intent. So it can be said that the young man has no plan on harming Grafia and Rias back then. But Sertsk still remained vigilant, after all, who knows when their opponent changed his mind. But I need to finish my work fast, so I can visit Rias-chan. Sertsk muttered before smiling, remembering his sister which he was fond of. Sigh, truly Siskin of massive proportions. Chapter 19, Akeno and Shuri. Asterisk whom. Two people appeared using teleportation. They appeared in front of a temple of some kind. One of the two was a middle-aged, gruff-looking man, a matching beard, muscular body, and black hair. The other one was a boy about 8 or 9 years old with flowing black hair and scarlet-colored eyes. These two were, as you've guessed, Raisel and Barakiel. Here we are, sorry for dragging you here, Raisel. Akeno really wanted to see you after she heard me mentioning you. Barakiel said. Raisel's expression didn't change. It's okay, Uncle Barakiel. Anyways, I also wanted to finally meet your family. He replied, and it's true. Raisel has been looking forward to see Barakiel's family. He was just waiting for Barakiel to voluntarily bring him to meet his family. And luckily, Raisel's wish came true. Ah, is that so? Then let's go. Barakiel seemed surprised after hearing Raisel also wanted to meet his family, but quickly calmed down. Then, a sudden thought appeared on his mind as he raised his guard. Raisel, don't try and fool with my daughter, got that? Barakiel sternly warned Raisel, who just tilted his head in confusion. Then Raisel came into realization as to why Barakiel warned him. He remembered that he was surrounded by 3 girls who had feelings for him. Yes, he already knew that those 3 has feelings for him. After some moment, Raisel just smiled wryly and helplessly nodded towards Barakiel. As for whether something will happen between Akeno and Raisel, that's for the future. Good. Barakiel nodded, feeling satisfied seeing Raisel nodded, but didn't drop his guard. After all, he knew that with Raisel's appearance along with his charisma and temperament, it was easy for young girls to have a crush on him. Soon the two walked towards where Shuri and Akeno is currently. After arriving in front, Barakiel called out. Shuri, Akeno, I'm home. Soon footsteps were heard, then after a few seconds, a girl about the same age as Raisel dashed towards Barakiel, who easily caught the girl in a hug. Father, finally you came home. I'm so happy. Akeno exclaimed happily. Barakiel smiled as he braced his daughter gently. Oh my, welcome home, dear. Then, after some moments, a beautiful woman appeared and greeted Barakiel. Seeing the woman, Barakiel smiled, then replied to her. I'm home, Shuri. Raisel, who was just behind Barakiel, stayed quiet and observed Shuri and Akeno. Shuri was a beautiful woman with a buxom figure, and she was like Akeno when she grew up but more mature. As for Akeno, as a kid she was a cute girl like the 3 back in Raisel's home. She has long black hair, and purple eyes, which was testament to her being half-fallen angel. Alright, you two meet Raisel. He was the kid I always mentioned, here he is. Barakiel finally remembered Raisel, who was behind him. After Shuri and Akeno heard Barakiel introducing Raisel, the two involuntarily looked behind him. There they saw a cute boy with flowing black hair and scarlet-colored eyes. Shuri and Akeno were quite surprised after seeing Raisel. There was this unique aura surrounding the boy in front of them, it's like the aura of a noble of some kind. It was awe-inspiring and there was also elegance. Nice to meet you, my name is Raisel. Raisel smiled after introducing himself. Oh my, what a cute boy. Since you call my husband uncle, then just call me aunt, okay? Shuri said gently, and I hope you can be friends with the daughter, Akeno. Raisel nodded, of course, Aunt Shuri. Come on, introduce yourself too, Akeno. Shuri gently tapped Akeno's shoulder. The latter nodded at Shuri. And nice to meet you, I'm Akeno. Nice to meet you too, Akeno. Alright, since introductions are done, let's go inside. Barakiel said suddenly. If you look closely, his eyebrows were twitching as he saw how his daughter was enthusiastically greeted Raisel. The four of them then entered, and after they found their seats, Shuri with the help of Akeno served them some snacks. They served tea, and some cookies. Thank you Aunt Shuri, Akeno. Raisel said gratefully. Shuri just smiled in return while Akeno blushed and looked down. Raisel then proceeded to pick up the cup of tea and took a sip of it. Upon tasting the tea, his eyes lit up. The tea was very tasty, and he very much liked it. But even though it was very tasty, he didn't have an exaggerated reaction like those in animes about cooking. He just sipped the tea with elegance, and sometimes eating a cookie. Does the taste to your liking? Zuri asked Raisel with a smile. Raisel looked towards Shuri and replied with a smile, yes, the tea and cookies were very tasty. Especially the tea, I like it very much. Shuri's smile widened as she glanced at Akeno, then her eyes gained a playful light. Meanwhile, Barakiel stayed silent at the side, he was just sipping his tea. Oh, so you like the tea? Actually, Akeno was the one who brewed it. Shuri said with a teasing tone. Akeno blushed more. As for why she was blushing, whether it's because she's shy or something else, no one knows except herself. I see, then thank you Akeno. You're really good at brewing tea. Raisel praised. Phew phew phew. Shuri chuckled at the side. Raisel stayed there for hours. During those hours he played with Akeno. They played outside the house, leaving the two adults being lovey-dovey. While playing, with Raisel's enhanced senses he could hear some sounds coming from the house, so he put up a barrier around Akeno and him so he can't keep hearing the sounds. And now, after a few hours of staying, it was time to leave. Raisel along with Barakiel could be seen standing together. In front of them were Akeno and Shuri. Then, we will leave now. I'll visit again sometime. Barakiel said. Shuri smiled sadly, of course she knew her husband was also busy. Akeno also stayed silent, as she understood too. Then Aunt Shuri, Akeno, thank you for your hospitality. I will come back here sometime too. Raisel said. Soon after, Barakiel teleported with Raisel to Grigori. Chapter 20, Untitled. As the seasons change, time also passed by quickly. A year and few months passed since Raisel's first visit to Barakiel's family. Under the moonlight's shine, you can see a boy with flowing black hair relaxing. He was lying down the grass staring at the starry sky. But he was not alone, beside him sat a girl with long raven black hair. Sigh, it's been 10 years since we arrived in this world, hi. The boy said in a low voice. The girl beside him who was also watching the stars above replied. Yes. You've changed Raskraya. Raisel turned slightly and glanced at the girl beside him. Raskraya stayed silent for a moment before replying, I'm not the only one who changed, you as well. If it were in the past, you would have just stayed at a quiet place and observed the world around you. The tone of her became sad at the last part of her statement. Just remembering all their friends in the past who died, she became sorrowful. Chuckle, you're right, ha. Ever since coming to this world, I've had so much fun. But, remembering the past in our previous world. He didn't continue what he's about to say and changed the subject. How's your training going? It's going great, and I can also put Ragnarok now. She replied. She also didn't continue in about their previous subject. I see, Raisel nodded in understanding. He already knew that her soul weapon also managed to go with her. After that, the two stayed silent, but it was not awkward. The silence around them gave this unique atmosphere around the two. They continued to watch on the stars in the night sky. But Raskraya sometimes glanced at Raisel. As for what she's thinking, only she knew. The two continued their relaxation, but it was ruined after two voices were heard. Ah. So this is where you two went, Naya, a girl with long black hair with cat ears and two-tailed behind, exclaimed. Why did you sneak out? Another girl came, she has long blonde hair. Hearing those voices, Raisel and Raskrea smiled wryly. The former then stood up as he knew he can't relax in silence now as those two girls came. Kuroka, Jean, don't be so noisy, he said towards the two newcomers. Humph. Why are you two sneaking out, Naya? Kuroka asked. Enough about that, let's go back now, Raisel said, and the three nodded. They then walked back towards their base, which is near. The place Raisel and Raskrea was relaxing was at the back of their base. As they walked back, Raisel was getting excited for tomorrow as he will finally be 10 years old at that time. That means his pocket world will be unlocked soon. His strength has been increasing slowly now, so he needed that pocket world to train. He's still at Satan class power level if compared to the Devil's power ranking. His other companions also grew stronger but still far from him. The fastest in growth in terms of strength were Vali and Raskrea, while Kuroka and Jean was not as fast but still faster than many. As for the children he rescued, they officially joining his group and started their training. Their strength are still weak as most of them was only low class in strength. As the sunlight shone upon Raisel's face, he woke up. A smile adorned on his face, as today was finally the day he was waiting for. Today is his 10th birthday and his pocket world was also unlocked. All the information about the pocket world was already inside his head. And suffice to say he was very happy at what he knew. I'll check it put now, he muttered, and he closed his eyes, then thought of entering his pocket world. Upon opening his eyes again, what greeted him was a different sight. Opposed to the site of his room, he was now standing on a grassy plain. There were some trees scattered around, along with a river flowing. He raised his head, and was astonished as he saw clouds as well as a blue sky. If he didn't know better, he would think he was still on Earth, but he was not. Looks like God made some changes from my wishes, I appreciate it though. And from the information I got, even if I increased the gravity here, the surroundings wouldn't be affected. Then a thoughtful expression appeared on Raisel's face. The air here is also full of mana. The mana here is also dense, luckily I am strong enough. If not, I would suffocate due to the sheer amount and how densely the mana here. Though I can also feel some other energy, looks like I can't bring the others here for now. They need sufficient strength to survive here. He muttered the last part with a bit of disappointment in his voice. After looking around for quite some time, Raisel was astounded at the sheer size of this pocket world. It was actually half the size of Earth, and from his observations, plants could grow here. Animals could also possibly be brought here, which gave him an idea. But Raisel stopped looking around after a bit. He then exited the place with a thought. Phew, now then, maybe I should treat them today. I'll just do that, anyway we don't have things to do for now. Raisel was back to his room after exiting the pocket world. After exiting he thought of treating his companions as a way to celebrate today. So with that thought in mind, he took a bath and changed his clothes. Then he invited his companions, to which they agreed readily. And so, they left the base to celebrate by going around the world to eat various foods. Chapter 21, Unexpected. Master, may I ask what you are preparing for? You've got all these preparations going on, from forming a group to your experiments. Frankenstein looked at his master. The latter has changed greatly from his past self, who was mostly silent. But he didn't doubt the one in front of him was his master. Were you curious? Well, it's all preparation for the future. I can't tell you why or what, but there will be situations in the far future that we need to prepare for, Raisel replied. He then pointed at the tools in his laboratory. These experiments are regarding my powers. I wanted to know how I can further develop them or their other possible uses. Over the years, I have got some results using the demonic beasts that we often hunted, but some things are still lacking for them to be useful for me or possibly for others. Frankenstein looked around the place they were in. It was full of tools, but the most eye-catching ones are the large glass tanks containing some demonic beasts or their body parts. There was even a tank full of nothing but blood. Anyway, the reason why I called you here was that I want you to tell me if you can use the results of my experiments in your studies. Raisel handed a folder to his servant. I know you have perfected your enhancement project back in our world before the invasion, but as you know, there are many more powerful beings in this world, so the strength one can gain from that project isn't sufficient. I understand, Master, so you want me to improve the results. Are you planning on doing the enhancements to our group members? Frankenstein hesitated when he asked. He knew the trauma of those kids from the experiment is still there, so going through the enhancement process isn't good for them. No, I know their situation and they aren't fit for the process. What I want is for future applications. You can call it insurance, so we can produce strong combatants in the future, which is why we need to perfect it in less than 10 years. Less than 10 years? Master, I don't think that is possible. Even back in our world, it took me at least 1,000 years of research to perfect it, and those that went through the process only gain power equivalent to Tier 3 at most. If we want to give higher strength than that, it will still take decades to centuries even with all our initial knowledge. Raisel smiled wryly. He knows what he said is outrageous, but it can't be helped. They are already at a disadvantage, so they need at least that level of preparation to have a chance at fighting back against the future arrival of the Evis. I know it sounds outrageous, but I've already thought about it. But I know something that will help with this endeavor. And I think it's time for them to help us as well, Raisel said. Them? Are you sure, Master? Wouldn't it complicate our relationship with the other two factions? No, it's okay. I don't think it will be that dangerous since the commotion has already died. Though a troublesome old guy might meddle, with our current strength, they wouldn't and couldn't ignore us. It will be enough as deterrence. Raisel said firmly. In his group, there were 3 Tier 5 powerhouses and 1 at Tier 4. They were him, Frankenstein, and Raskrea at Tier 5 and Volley at Tier 4 when at his balance breaker. That makes sense, but they have those 2 monsters. Frankenstein voiced out his worries. Even with his master's powers, facing those 2 isn't possible. In the future, maybe 2 to 3 years from now, it's possible, but certainly not at present. Don't worry about them, they wouldn't interfere with us if they knew the predicament, especially that scientist guy. After all, he is a major factor in the problem. Raisel said confidently before waving his hand. Anyway, let's get out of here, I still need to talk with them. Yes, Master. Frankenstein bowed. The 2 then left the laboratory and go on their separate ways. Frankenstein went to his laboratory to immediately start studying the documents given to him, while Raisel went to a certain place. Raisel appeared in an unknown location after leaving his laboratory. He was in front of a Victorian-styled house which has been a familiar sight for him for the past years. The house was of medium size and there were many houses of similar designs in the vicinity. Raina is turning 3 in a few months, I would be busy by then. I should give her my gift early on. He walks toward the door and knocked on it. Talk talk. Yes, who is it? A voice came from inside, it sounded like a woman. Soon, the door opened, revealing a beautiful young woman looking to be in her mid to late 20s. She had shoulder-length grey hair tied neatly and similar-colored eyes. She wore simple clothes, a shirt and pants with an apron on top. It gave her the vibe of a young housewife. Upon seeing the woman, Raisel smiled. I came to visit Raina and talk about some things. Oh, it's you, Rai. What a surprise, come in. The woman smiled as she invited the boy in front of her. She was already used to seeing him in a grown-up form despite his real age being 10 years old. Thank you, Raisel nodded and entered the house. Raina misses you, the woman chuckled, remembering her daughter throwing a tantrum saying she wants to see her big brother Raisel. Many things are going on, so I had no time to visit. It will be busier this coming year, so I don't think I can attend her birthday this year. Raisel smiled wryly, it's also why I visited today, so I can give her my gift early. He opened his palm and a small swirl of blood appeared before dissipating, revealing a necklace with a small scarlet crystal cased in a gilded gold frame, as a pendant. I'm sure she'll like it. The 2 soon arrived at the living room where they saw a cute little girl watching television. She was staring intently at the show playing currently. She had short grey hair like her mother's and onyx-colored eyes. Raina, your big brother Raisel is here. The little girl turned her head and saw the boy standing beside her mother. Instantly, her expression brightened up, and ran toward him. Big brother! Oh, how's our little Aina doing? Raisel lowered himself and let the little girl hug him. Hee, I've been a good girl. I ate vegetables and not wasting food. Raina giggled. Is that so, then you need to be rewarded. Here look, he showed her the necklace in his palm. It's my birthday gift for you. I'm giving it early since you've been such a good girl. Whoa! Thank you, big brother. You're welcome, then let me put it on you. She nodded. Raisel carefully wore the necklace on her. He then brought out a mirror from his pocket space and put it in front of her. It suits our little Aina, as expected. He praised. Wow! Haha, now, you two. Let's go eat, I've just finished preparing food when Raisel came in. Yes, mommy. Raina beamed, showing a dazzling smile. Ugh! She's so cute. Raisel felt blinded by the smile. Soon the three sat around the dining table full of different foods. Chapter 22, Family and Promise. About 2 years ago, in the town of Kyoto, there is a major event that happened. It was something that could have escalated further if some people didn't move. This was more so for the devils, as one wrong move and the secret could have upturned their whole society, leading to possibly another civil war. It was years ago, but I'm grateful for your help back then. You're welcome, Raisel said as he put down his teacup after taking a sip. Besides, we agreed on a deal back then. True, are you finally doing it? Claria simply asked, not bothered by it. That day, when she almost died at the hands of those people, it was this boy in front that saved her. Yes, the commotion has died down, and many should have also forgotten about it. You can finally reunite with your family, he nodded. And also, please do as I requested. Alright, I can't act that much still, since if they knew I was alive, it will be troublesome. We need to contact the Satans first after I go back to the clan. Claria knew that some old guy will move if he knew she was alive. She needs the Satans' help before that. No worries, I have some contact with someone close to one of the Satans. Raisel smiled slyly. It has been 2 years since he planted a secret message on that woman. She wasn't aware of it even with her strength, as he deliberately hid it in her blood. If he activates that catalyst, then the message will be passed directly in her mind. This was all possible due to his authority over blood and through the use of his aura. Huh? You have someone beside them. Claria stared at the boy in front of her like she's looking at a monster. Those were the Satans, the leaders of the devils, and he has a mole beside them? Oh, it's not a mole. Raisel clarified after seeing she misunderstood his word. It's the wife of Surtsks, Graphia. Her mind was rendered of function. The wife of Satan Lucifer? How did he get in contact with her? Such thoughts ran through her mind at that moment. Stop with all that imagination in your mind. I met her during a rescue mission that my team did, years back, he said. He then took a sip of his tea. I planted something in her blood using my aura at that time. Once you are reunited with your family and explained your circumstances, message me and I'll help you get in contact with Surtsks. She could only nod in astonishment. It's like the boy knew all this would happen and planned a course of action years back. It's just inconceivable to her mind. PFFF, Raisel chuckled. He could hear her thoughts due to his telepathy, and it made him chuckle since it was close to the truth. He did plan it all out years ago. In fact, after being able to write, he kept a secret note of all the future events he knew and draw out plans on how he can utilize those events. Thank you for the food and tea, I'm going now. Please tell Mr. Masaimi he still owes me that $100 when we played poker. Raisel waved his hand before teleporting out. PFFF, haha, so he still remembers such a small amount. Claria chuckled. At the same time, she was looking forward to finally reuniting with her family. Meanwhile, this is... Frankenstein was shocked after he finished reading the document given by his master. It contains the results of experiments, possible applications, and plans to use the final product. I didn't know Master's ability could be used in such ways. This is a great discovery. I can combine it with my research and we can create groups of powerful combatants with different specialties. He could already picture an organization in mind. They can have different divisions with personnel having abilities enhanced specifically for that type of work. Just what cataclysmic is Master preparing for? He put down the document on his table and prepared to do some experiments. The folder was left open, and from there, you can see what the documents contained. Test result regarding the possible use of blood authority to extract characteristics from the blood of other beings. Test subjects, demonic beasts. Results are optimistic. Through numerous experiments, it was discovered that some characteristics of the test subjects are extracted and can be passed on to other subjects. Further tests are to be conducted after mastery over the authority is achieved. Vanishing Dragon, Balance Breaker. Swoosh, bang. A sword and fist clad in draconic armor clashed. It created a resounding explosion. Blood field. A dome of blood expanded and encases the whole area. Following this, 4 blood tornadoes ravaged the place before going toward the boy clad in draconic armor. Divide. 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 Half dimension. Slowly, those 4 blood tornadoes were reduced in size, but they still dwarfed Volley. They hit and ravaged his armor. He couldn't move suddenly. He only saw a glimpse when Raskrea's eyes momentarily glowed. Mind control. You've improved, Volley. Fwoosh. Suddenly all the blood tornadoes and the sum of blood disappeared. Raskrea, you overdid it. Look at the training grounds. Jean approached the other girl. This. The latter looked around and saw the ravaged place. It was wrecked beyond its initial appearance. Naya, do you know where Raya went? Naya. Another girl approached. It was Kuroka. No, he didn't say anything. Raskrea shook her head. Albion was speechless. Vala was here wrecked with all kinds of injuries, but they didn't pay attention to him. I'm okay, Albion, Vala said. He then cast healing magic on himself. That guy will surely be annoyed again if he saw this training area. I'll repair it before he comes back, Vala muttered. He shivered after remembering how Frankenstein punished him when the training area was wrecked last time. It wasn't his fault, but he was the only one punished, as those 3 girls is, you know. Frankenstein can't really punish them, so instead, he was the one to bear it. Oh? Repair what before who comes back? Vala heard a calm voice behind him. Hearing it made him shiver. You're done, I'm done. Chapter 23, Team's Growth. I'm home, said a black-haired man as he entered the house. He appears to be Asian, specifically of Japanese descent. Welcome home, dear. Welcoming him was a beautiful woman with grey hair. How was work today? It's been hectic. We received many calls that almost overwhelmed us, he sighed tiredly. Oh yes, dear, Raisel visited us earlier. Oh, that kid? He hasn't been visiting that frequently. Has he been busy? Masaami asked as they walked towards the dining hall. It seems he has his team now and they often go on missions. Right, he also said that you need to pay the $100 you owe him from your last game of poker. Claria chuckled after saying so. That kid. Masaami was gobsmacked. He can't believe that kid was so petty that he still wants the money from the game they played over a year ago. I'll give it to him when he visits later. Haha, Claria chuckled softly before turning serious. Oh yes, we need to discuss something later. Her tone suggested it is something that needs to be discussed urgently. Masaami sweated. Did she find out about the Gundam figurines I bought? I'm sure I hid it well. He nervously thought. It's time for me to inform my family. Claria's words gave Masaami relief. Whew, looks like I'm safe, he thought. Is that so? Then it's finally time. Looks like that kid has his plans into motion. He continued. Oh, by the way, dear. I seemed to have found a certain hidden compartment that was concealed with magic. Claria threw him a bright smile. But to Masaami, it looks anything but bright. I'm screwed. Their family had a pleasant dinner that evening, but the head of the family seems to be too tired from work as he was not energetic during dinner. After the dinner, Claria and Masaami had a pleasant discussion regarding her eventual reunion with her family and the Gundam figurines. The next day, at the main headquarters of Raisel's team, inside the main office was Raskrea sitting behind a desk and working on paperwork. Another mission assigned by Grigori. She muttered after reading the document in her hands. As of the present, they are still part of Grigori, well they are already semi-detached from it but not fully. So some of the easier missions that pile up in Grigori are passed on to their team. And Raskrea is mainly the one who handles paperwork and such when their leader, Raisel, is busy, which he currently is. A team of 5 should be enough for this. She glanced at the mission description. It was an easy one, it just involves delivering some materials and helping in a small Grigori facility on Earth. Oh, and another one. This time it's an extermination mission of a group of stray exorcists and rouge fallen angels in a city in the Philippines. The intel attached said there should be some high-class beings there or tier 3 in the scaling system their team uses. I'll take this one with the girls. Raskraya released a sigh and thought back to their team. It was something that Raisel thought of creating. He did not specifically mention the reason, but he vaguely said it was to prepare for the future. Currently, their team is growing rapidly, with over 500 members in just a year. They have recruitment was fast for an organization of their size. Well, recruitment is a loose term here as most of their recruits were saved from dark magicians, strays, etc. Those saved were given two choices, the same given to the kids they saved from the Holy Sword Institute. Some decided to leave while the majority of them stayed, possibly due to desperation. Those that stayed underwent enhancement using the perfected enhancement technology of Frankenstein. After the process, it gave the recruits enhanced physical capabilities and the ability to use aura. The rate of enhancement effects differs for each individual due to some factors. Some got overall strength equal to tier 3, but the majority only obtained tier 2 strength. I just need to finish a few more and then we can proceed with the extermination mission. Once again, she sighed before proceeding with her work. We need to build the different departments soon, otherwise we will have piles of paperwork waiting to be finished. She thought while working. How long do I need to do this? Vala mustered out courage and asked the devil in front of him. Until I'm satisfied and when you've learned the magic I assigned for you, Frankenstein simply replied. They were currently in his laboratory where he was testing some ideas of his using some samples he got yesterday, from Raisel after the latter came back from his visit to Claria. Ugh damn, it's better if I were doing some missions right now, Vala grumbled. There are two things he disliked, helping in Frankenstein's lab and studying. Right now he is doing both. If that's what you want, then quickly master space magic. After saying so, Frankenstein ignored Vala instead. He focused on the specimen given to him. It was a small demonic beast that was injected with a different blood than another demonic beast. The blood mentioned and used here isn't truly blood but just called that for the lack of a better term. It was actually the condensed form of a trait from another demonic beast that was extracted by Raisel from that beast's blood to be used for tests. Frankenstein watched the specimen intently. Its size was similar to that of a rat, with similar features with a rat but with a more ferocious look. It had a mouth full of sharp teeth, and its fur was as dark as the night. Its tail was of a scorpion's but longer. Then there are its eyes, its color is orange. The blood infused with this specimen was that of specimen 069, more specifically the trait of being able to spew poison mist. It has been around 5 minutes since they infused said blood but still nothing is happening. Just then, the specimen twitched violently for a few seconds before stopping. It seems okay, with no visible after effects. Let's test if it worked. Frankenstein covered his hand with aura for protection and put his hand inside the tank. He then poked the specimen to agitate it. Shay! Not long after, his provocation worked as the specimen growled at his hand and suddenly it spewed a green mist toward his hand. TSSHHH. It could penetrate through the thin protective aura. Frankenstein stared at his hand. It had a slight burn from the poison mist's contact. What remarkable ability! We just need more tests to see what combinations would work, then we can proceed to the next step. Frankenstein was elated that if he can integrate different traits extracted from demonic beasts or even other supernatural creatures, they can use them to further enhance their members. Though they still need to perfect it for personal and mass use. Chapter 24, Devil Politics. So that's what happened. Diehauser frowned after hearing such information, and more so, he was extremely angry. Diehauser was a man with a graceful face, grey hair and grey eyes. He was in his study with his cousin, Claria Belial, who sat opposite him. Yes, I could only contact you now due to the risk of being discovered. Luckily, someone helped us that time and concealed our location. Then I must thank that person for saving you, Diehauser said. He was extremely grateful to that person who saved his cousin. One must know that he treated Claria as a biological sister and was protective of her. He should arrive here if I contacted him, though he is busy right now. Besides, he said to contact him and he will connect us to one of the Satans. Claria nodded. Truthfully, he already said some steps so we can resolve the problem regarding the king piece. Though, we must be careful, otherwise those old devils will notice. I know, I also did my investigation, though I didn't know who the masterminds were before. Now, all the pieces are coming together. Diehauser nodded. He knew their enemies now are those extremely high up in the devil's political positions. They were on par with the four great Satans in terms of influence. Though they may have lower overall strength, they can still shake the whole of devil society if they wanted to. Of course, as the champion of the raiding games dubbed the Emperor, he has a large influence as well, both on commoners and nobles. But this cannot be compared with the influence of the Great King's faction. Those guys are the controllers in the dark. They control most of the devil society's political and economic circles. This might sound outrageous, but in truth, the four great Satans are merely figureheads to stabilize the devil society. That is due to them being hailed as heroes after the devil civil war 500 years ago. Yes, the Satans are powerful and have power as well, but they only deal with some aspects like foreign relations and such. Most of the devil society is controlled by the Great King faction led by Zekram Baal. Then contact your savior first and we'll try to get in contact with the Satans. I have met them, so I am most assured that they will help, although he said that, Diehauser still felt some hesitation. Alright, Claria nodded before contacting Raisel through magic. Hello, Claria. Raisel, I've talked with my brother, Diehauser. Can you contact Lady Grafia now? Alright, wait for her there. Also, I'm going as well. How are you going to teleport here? You don't know where this is, right? And aren't you going to be in danger? I have my ways and don't worry, I will be okay, perhaps. And the call was cut off. He said he's going here, Claria said. Excellent, I can thank him in person, Diehauser smiled. Also, how about telling me about my niece? Haha, yes of course. Raisel's team headquarters. It's finally time, Raisel felt excited. Finally, some of his plans will be in motion. This was only the beginning, but this small step will be the foundation on which his plans will stand. I should take Volley and Frankenstein with me, he muttered. He believes those two can help him. Although he feels that the chances of things going wrong are below 50%, it's better to be prepared. Frankenstein, come to my lab and bring Volley. We will be going on a business trip. Yes, Master. He waited for some time before the two arrived. After that, they teleported to their destination, the underworld in Belial territory. Meanwhile, at Sertzk's office, Grafia was calmly serving her husband tea when she felt a slight shock run through her before a message directly appeared in her mind. Lady Grafia Lucifuge, I left this message to inform you about an important piece of information that I came across. It can overturn the whole Devil Society if it were leaked. If you want to know more, go to the Belial clan's territory with Satan Lucifer. You must not let anyone know about it. Also, in case you're wondering, this is an encrypted message I left during our first meeting. How? Grafia felt chills running through her. She remembered that young man she met years ago and felt some trepidation from him. If he could leave a message in her without her or those around her noticing it, then she doesn't even dare think about if he meant any harm. FIA, Grafia. Ah. Coming out of her stupor, she heard Sertzk's worried voice. I'm okay, but it seems we need to go somewhere, Lord Sertzk. Go somewhere? Where? Sertzk asked. He noticed how Grafia's face seemed a bit pale. He reckoned it was due to this sudden request. To the Belial clan's territory, she replied. She wasn't sure if what the message contains is true, but she has a feeling it is. Sertzk observed her for a moment before nodding, all right. Afterward, the two teleported out of the office. Belial clan. So you were the one who saved my sister, thank you very much. Diehauser bowed toward Raisel. You're welcome, Raisel simply said. But before anything, they should be arriving right about now. In the queue to Raisel's statement, a magic circle with the Gremmery clan's symbol appeared and two new people arrived. It's you. Grafia, upon seeing Raisel involuntarily exclaimed. Grafia, you know him? Sertzk stared at Raisel curiously. For his normally serious and cold wife to be that surprised to lose control, this young man must be someone she knew. Nice to meet you, Satan Lucifer. The name is Cadis Etrama Di Raizel, please just call me Raisel. He greeted me as a courtesy. Raisel, was it? So what is happening here, Mr. Diehauser? Sertzk said. He turned his attention to someone he greatly knew. My apologies for the poor reception, Lord Lucifer. But I will explain to you everything, please hear me out. Diehauser said. He then started narrating everything that Claria told him. Claria herself further told Surtsks those she knew. From how she found out about the existence of the king pieces to her being hunted down with her lover. And finally, them being saved by Raisel. Is this all true? Surtsks took a deep breath. If this is all true, then it's really important information. Yes, I have all pieces of evidence with me. I also managed to get one of the king pieces during my investigation. Claria took out a pile of documents and an evil piece. Surtsks read through it, but with just the king piece in his hand, all of the things he heard were proven to be the truth. Do not worry, Lady Claria, I will talk with my fellow Satans and try to find a solution for this. If I may interrupt your conversation, all attention gathered to Raisel. I believe I have the best course of action to safely resolve this issue. And who might you be? Surtsks asked curiously. I was the one who saved Lady Claria, Raisel said. As I was saying earlier, I have the safest solution for this issue. But it needs a year or two of preparation before it can be put into motion. We have the evidence here, but if we arbitrarily released it, chaos would ensue. So I propose this plan. Raisel raised his palm and a swirl of blood appeared before a folder was left. He passes it to Surtsks. Please read this and tell me your thoughts, he smirked. He was confident this plan will work. Why? Because it was the same thing Die Hauser did in the series with some tweaks, of course. This is a good plan, Surtsks nodded. But I must talk with my fellow Satans first. So with that, all said, please excuse us. Farewell, Lord Lucifer, Die Hauser and Claria bowed. Raisel and his companions just stood. After all, they weren't under the Devil's faction. After Surtsks and Grafia left, Raisel and his companions stayed with the Belial clan for some time before leaving. Chapter 25, Epilogue. 2.5 years later. The Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, is an urban legend focused on a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where several aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. That's how the outside world sees the Bermuda Triangle. Little did they know of the existence of a large landmass located inside of it. This landmass was hidden from the detection of the outside world through satellites due to an electromagnetic field covering the whole landmass and surrounding islands. Electromagnetic interference isn't the only thing responsible for the hiding of such a large landmass. Another factor in it is the numerous magical barriers set up. At the same time, a large city was built inside the landmass where the headquarters of a certain faction is located. The headquarters was built at the core of the city. It was buzzing with activity. People can be seen walking around doing their respective work. Inside one of the offices in the headquarters sat the one responsible for all this. He was an extremely handsome youth with scarlet red eyes and jet black hair. How troublesome! He muttered. In his hand was a document about a mission. It was specifically addressed to him. He sighed, guess I'll go, not like I have anything to do right now. Raskrea and the girls are busy training in the pocket world. Frankenstein is also there, doing some further tests. Vala should be training as well. Raisel stood up from his seat. He reminisces back on what happened for the past 2.5 years. Some notable events were, he finally found a suitable base for their team which grew into a large-scale organization. They are practically their own separate faction except they still take some missions sent by Grigori. The reason was simple, these missions get them profit and also serve as training for the members. The base they have right now is a hidden state with a bustling community where the members and their family lives. Their headquarters was built on this large island which was divided into sections. The core section is where the main headquarters is located, then there's the public section where homes and other necessary infrastructures were built. Aside from the other two sections, there were still other parts that were mostly out of public reach. I should go now, it'll probably take me quite a while to finish the mission. With that said, Raisel teleported out of the office. Chapter 26. Do you see that? The Heavenly of Aloha ship has sunken. It was reported that 233 students are aboard the ship on their school trip. PSSHH. Authorities have already started investigating the case. PSSHH. We have sent out several ships to scout out the area for possible survivors. Please rest assured that we will update you all when we find any survivors. All over different TV networks, the news about the Heavenly of Aloha ship was being shown. It was a luxury liner that had 233 students aboard. It was recently found that it has sunken, which brought grief to the students' families. News does travel fast, it's just been a day but it's all over the news already. A young man commented as his scarlet-red eyes glowed intensely as he watched the news. Why are you angry? The silver-haired boy standing near him asked. The boy felt the anger of the young man. It was something that he saw a few years back when they went on that mission in Italy. Angry, huh? I know in our world this type of incident is common, but to think this isn't even done by supernatural races but by their fellow humans. And not only that, they dared to implicate a few hundred average humans. That's what truly pissed me off. Raisel took his gaze off the television and turned on the report he received. In collaboration with Grigori's agents, they found out that the ones who caused the Heavenly of Aloha incident were a faction called Utsasimi. Nothing else was known yet, but what they do know is that this faction is part of the supernatural world. For Raisel, who inherited 2 lives worth of memories and emotions, especially the ones from his time as the Noblesse, he felt anger rush through him. As someone who was part of a race that protected humans since ancient times, even if that may be in another world, the actions of the Utsasimi were something he condemned. He wouldn't have been this angry if they only involved humans who were also part of the supernatural world, but they targeted common folks, teenagers at that. Who, ha? He breathed in and out to calm himself. After repeating it for a few minutes, he calmed down. What did Azazel say? He asked us if we wanted to take in the responsibility to protect the survivors of the incident, since they would be targeted for sure. However, he advised not to approach one of them just yet, since that one is mentally and emotionally unstable. All right, I understand. Raisel nodded in understanding. So he wants us to take this one, huh? Did he find out about the traitors in Grigori? He thought. He knew there were traitors and spies inside Grigori, but he doesn't know which or who they are. This was also one of the reasons why he decided on creating a separate faction. Though that is now the case, their faction is in an alliance with Grigori. Let's go, Vala. The others are busy, so it's only both of us. All right, Vala nodded. Anyway, it's better than getting dragged off by that guy to help in his laboratory. Swoosh. With that, the two teleported out of the house. Chapter 27, Undercurrents. The two observed the school below. The atmosphere was gloomy after the recent incident where the majority of the second years of Ryukyuhaya were assumed dead. For now we should just observe and silently protect the survivors. I'll go with the delinquent guy, Samejima Kauki. Raskraya and the other girls are also on their way to protect the last 2. Alright, without further thought, Vala went off to Stockahem protect Minagawa Natsum. Raisel went on his way as well. Frankenstein was in his laboratory as usual to do his experiments. It would just be another day doing his experiments in peace, or so it should have been. I understand, Master. I will dispatch some of our agents to investigate more. I'll leave it to you. Also, talk with Lady Yasaka regarding the current situation. Then try to stall the 5 principal clans or negotiate with them if necessary. If all does not go well, you can do as you please. The call ended. 5 principal clan. Frankenstein muttered before leaving his laboratory. He needs to handle the mission entrusted to him with care. One wrong move could lead to a political fallout with the supernatural factions governing Japan, the Shinto pantheon. The political fallout is a worst-case scenario for their faction, as it would hinder all plans prepared by his master. Not only that, the current strength of their faction is still not enough. If it's only the 5 clans, then it is a problem, but the Shinto pantheon is another story. Whew, looks like I need to meet with Lady Yasaka first. He smirked. After all, he knew the relationship between the faction led by Yasaka and the principal clans. Though the two were under Shinto influence, they were in a hostile relationship. Are they ready? The man glanced at the researcher in front of him. Yes, they can be deployed now. It would have taken at least 2 months if not for the help of. Stop right there, no one can know our involvement with them. Haimjima Hainsha glared at the man. Why yes. Leave now. Send them to capture the 4. Understood. Hainsha watched as the man left. His thoughts lingered on those people that helped them in their experiments. It's dangerous to get any more involved with them, he muttered. Although they certainly have the strength to help him and his organization in their revenge, those people are far too dangerous. They were enough to shake the balance of the 3 biblical factions with just a little information he knew about them. Hangzhe quickly shook off whatever thoughts he had and go off to do some work. Have you two tracked the Hyusk Koga? Raskraya asked through their communication magic. Yes Naya. We just need to observe him for now, right? Yes, that's what Raisel ordered, she said. Okay Naya. Roger that, Raya. Their communication stopped. She then thought of the best course of action she could do and decided. She disguised herself as a student of the school her target was attending and used an area-wide mind-altering spell so the students will know her as a transfer student in the same class as the target, Nanadara Shiger.